Check, 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 check. I was just muted, Bill. How y'all doing tonight? What's up, you knuckle dragger?
Yeah, I'll come up here for a minute so you don't sit here by yourself.
I've been sitting here by myself for like 40 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That kind of seems to be the norm nowadays. People are staying later over errands.
I noticed that. I've just been listening to oldies music lately. Kind of in that frame of mind.
How old of oldies are you talking?
Late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, okay.
I was listening to the Rondells.
There you go.
Yeah. They were actually pretty cute.
Yeah.
Ronells. Maybe it's Ronells, but no D in there, I don't think. Anyway, they were pretty cute back in that time. They'd be hotties in modern day for sure. And there was some good kind of swinging music, like Doris Day. She actually had some good stuff. She did a trio with Sinatra and Dean Martin.
Mm.
Yeah. I thought she was about as gorgeous as Marilyn Monroe. But she actually died, really, really early, so I think she died from an overdose of sleeping pills or something, I don't know. It was another scandalous death, that...
Yep.
Yeah, that crap's been going on too long.
What's up, Adder?
She's out in my shed doing some work. I'm not building. I'm working on batteries. Got these. They're gonna go up there. but I need to get some of these. I got room for all 4 of those up there. I got open plugs. There. 10. Got 2 up there on the top. And 2 on the bottom. And I've got 3 more of those power strips. So I can put quite a few in there. And I think I'm going to upgrade the cable. I got 8-gauge cable in there. It can handle 10. Maybe even 12. Excuse me. Wait, it's got 8. I can handle 6. 6-gauge.
Well, you need to go all 12 gauge if you want to run that flux capacitor.
But look, this thing has a really thick cable. And it's got 2 for each one. I've definitely got one of them. Yeah. 8 gauge. And I almost bought 6 gauge. I could have bought it. See this battery here is really thick. The big problem is these guys, why they're only able to do 20 amps. They got all these little tiny wires going to each one of these. There's 5 sections here. And they got those little tiny wires, but you bring them out to the end, and they're all connected to one. I got under this tape. I didn't cut the connector off completely, and I found that I can solder straight to that, or not solder, crimp straight to it, and it's a strong crimp. And then I can take 20 amps through it.
Well, I've got better lighting now because I put in a higher luminescent bulb in one of my lamps, which makes it easier to see stuff.
Oh yeah. I need to update the lighting up in my bedroom. It's awful.
Really?
Yeah. The ceiling fan with the main lights, the bulbs have been in, since before my dad passed away, and he's got these goofy yellow spectrum lights that are low wattage, and they just don't cut it.
Yeah.
They're more ornate and fancy looking than practical.
I've got the super white LED shop light, and it seems like it actually, it's too white,
Mm-hmm.
And it's I think it's I found out that they are hot. They have a lot of blue light in them.
Yep.
That are bad for your eyes.
Yep.
So I'd like to try to get things that have more of an amber tone to it or something, so I got less of the blue light.
Well, are you talking like a traditional fluorescent tube ballast setup?
No, they've got LEDs that you can get that got a kind of an amber look to them.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you don't want to spend the money for a whole new setup, a lot of those older fluorescent tube sets, you could put a filter over those lights,
right?
Future project,
to change, the spectrum that's actually being, projected into. So I don't know if that's it. To me, it sounds like a cheaper route.
Yeah. Lamp shades on lamps also help. Lamp shades kind of
most definitely.
If you get the right lampshades, they will help to kind of give you that more of a amber light to it. But yeah, that blue light, that's one of the problems when you're like out on the water. You know how you feel like you're blind when you try to go indoors and can't see? Yeah, it's all the blue light from the water. Blue blockers.
Yep. Polarized lenses too.
Yeah, I don't know if polarized lenses
They work on what?
block out blue light though.
Well, for if you got eyeglasses, you can like for sunglasses, prescription sunglasses. I used to have a pair of polarized sunglasses. They were great for being out on the water.
Oh, okay.
But if you're talking about shading for bulbs and stuff, go with they make diffusers that you can put in those LED or the fluorescent banks and they make them for all different kinds of spectrums.
Yeah, because you can for eyeglasses you can actually get clip-ons that have like a little spring loaded in them, and they'll just fit right on your glasses. I had them when I was driving. I noticed a huge difference I started driving with no corrective lenses, just yellow driving glasses.
Yep.
And I could see everything really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I had polarizing prescription eyeglasses back when I was a teenager. And like you could, if you were looking at water, say if you were out fishing with regular glasses, like you can't see underneath, the surface of the water that well, even if it was fairly clear water. You put the polarizing lenses in, you can see everything down to wherever all the fish are and whatnot.
Yeah. And I had a spotlight. It was called a Q-beam. It was a Q-beam cigarette lighter spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 100 million candle watts or whatever. And it had it was a blue Q-beam. Q-beam makes, the blue one for marine environment. Man, I tell you what, I could see shrimp, fish. I mean, I'd shine it down in the water and I could see everything at night. Really deep. It cut right through it.
Where I was working at up in Canada, the water was so clean up there that if the lighting was right and you didn't have like direct sunlight beating down on the water, you could see straight down to the bottom of the river channel, like 120 feet or so. Some places, the water was that clear.
I believe that. It's clear like that in Florida. Down in South Florida, when you get out in the Keys, oh my gosh, you could see, probably a good 100 feet at least.
Yeah, my
Crystal
sister was
clear.
talking about that when she went down to Key West 2 years ago.
Oh, it's so blue and beautiful.
Getting a lot of rain here.
A lot of rain. Something's blowing in over here. We got high winds right now, and the clouds just started showing up.
We had high winds today.
Yeah.
So I took the solar panels off the pallet that I had them sitting on because that pallet blew over with my portable solar panel on it. But I didn't want it to break the glass on the rigid ones.
It was my son's birthday today, And I
Okay.
had
Tom, happy
I
birthday.
had freaking pizza for every meal today.
That could be a good thing if you like pizza.
I couldn't do that. Well, actually, I could.
I've done it.
I don't know. We got a pizza this morning and then got a pizza tonight. And I'm all pizzaed out.
That's a lot of pizza.
Too much.
Yeah, as long as it was good pizza,
For us.
that's all that matters.
One pizza lasts 2 days.
I love leftover cold pizza. If I got leftover pizza, I'll eat it more often cold than I will rewarming it up.
I like leftover cold buffalo wings.
Yeah, I'd rather eat them cold than I would rewarming them.
Same here.
I made
The same goes with
macaroni
just
and cheese.
regular fried chicken too.
I
Oh,
made
yeah.
macaroni and cheese and with hot dogs and rotel tomatoes. Oh gosh, 3 days I've been eating good.
I love that Rotel tomato
And I can-
stuff
I don't
and their
need to warm it.
tomatoes and chilies. Oh,
I can just eat it cold.
Yep.
I got to find a charge cable.
I like taking that Rotel tomato and chili pepper mix and adding it to like a box of rice-a-roni, or even mixing it in with macaroni and cheese.
I'm weird. I can eat hot dogs in a tortilla.
That's kind of weird, yeah.
In
I've
fact,
never heard of that before.
I can eat potato salad in a flour tortilla with some hot sauce in there. I actually like potato salad with hot sauce in a tortilla.
Okay.
I mean, it gives me all my starch nutrients.
My dad used to make cheap ass little homemade microwave pizzas using soft flour tortillas with a little bit of tomato sauce on them and some cheese and leftover meat or whatever. And I never really cared for him because I like a real crust on pizza, but he used to make that shit all the time.
Yeah. Hey, it's being creative, you know. My stepdad, his thing, and he actually preferred it. It was his preferred way to eat hot dogs was with crunchy peanut butter and onions on a bun, a hot dog.
That doesn't do anything for me.
I like it to this day. It's a nostalgia thing for me. I still like it.
Yeah, I'm weird with peanut butter. I only like it with either peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or like peanut butter on celery. That's about it.
You know that green taco sauce? You know that green taco sauce?
Like the green Tabasco?
No. Like the Victoria taco sauce. It's
No, I'm
kind
not
of
familiar
thicker.
with it.
I can spread butter on white bread and put just that and eat that. Butter and green taco sauce on a piece of white bread. And till you try it, don't knock it.
No, I used to make bread and butter sandwiches, just a piece of bread, butter it up, and I'd sprinkle garlic salt on it.
I did that too.
I wouldn't even toast it.
Yep.
I like kind of sandwich I like to have sometimes. It's chunky peanut butter and syrup.
Okay.
I just put it in a bowl and start mixing it up till it's nice and soft and spread it on toast. Oh gosh.
Well, sounds kind of like honey and peanut butter,
That
which I've
works
had a
too.
lot. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't sound too offbeat to me.
That's the first time I got that reaction. Most people are like, ew.
One of the most vilest things I've ever eaten in my entire life. One time in school, we had this weird day where, like, we basically, it was like learn about your school day thing, and you just went to different departments and got to interact with the teachers and the staff and everything, from their point of view. And like my group spent like 2 hours in the cafeteria working with the cooks. And this was like 5th grade, so it was like the last year of elementary school. And we made peanut butter soup. And my God, it was disgusting.
Ew.
And we made it from scratch. We didn't use like jarred peanut butter. We actually made the fucking peanut butter from peanuts, and just, smashed them up and mixed them with, sugar to make the peanut butter. And then we, turned it into soup. Oh, I don't know what they all added to it, but I mean, it looked like peanut butter, but just completely liquefied and velvety and everything. And it just tasted wrong.
I discovered
Actually,
now.
peanut butter and garlic powder kind of go good together, actually. Try it sometime.
I get strange looks when I tell about something I discovered. A cheeseburger with peanut butter and sliced pickle.
There's a lot of places that put peanut butter on hamburgers, restaurants, and
Killer
whatnot.
burger. That's where I found
my
it.
thing.
Oh man, it was good. So I came home and I grabbed the jar of pickles, grabbed the jar of peanut butter, and just put peanut butter on my pickles. It's good. It's really good.
Okay, Platoon, I see you there, and I'll respond to what you just said real quick. I hope I'm not over talking you, Battery. I'm not. Am I? Okay.
No.
All right. But I wanted to respond to Platoon, so at least he knows that somebody's reading the chat. He's been watching a hobo channel, guys that hop freight trains and stuff. And
Really?
yeah, he's been watching that. He's the one that told me about it. It's called Hobo Shoestring, and he and I have talked about it in the chat a little bit. Well, I got a question for you. Have you ever seen Hobo Stew?
Oh yeah.
Hobo Stew.
I've heard about it.
I can make that.
The story behind it is that some hobo would have a pot, and everybody would contribute to the soup with whatever they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you had pork and beans, that went in it, and the other guy had some corn, that went in it. Whatever you had, cans of something, maybe some spices or whatever you had, everybody contributed to the hobo stew, and they'd all sit and eat hobo stew. That's the story behind it.
That's a different hobo stew than I learned.
But that's the original. Well, yeah, that's the original hobo stew, though. That's where it came from. You make it however you want. It's whatever you got on hand, basically.
Okay. The one I learned is you got some tin foil, and you put your vegetables and your meat in there that you want to put together, and just seal it up and throw it on the fire.
But that's not stew.
No, it makes its own juice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but it's still not stew. But sounds good to me anyway.
Yeah, we did a lot of that foil wrap cooking in the Boy Scouts. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I learned it.
I used to like saying, when I went camping in Scouts, I would take like a package of kibasi, like half a ring of kibasi, or just a couple of hamburger patties, and I'd put them in the foil with like a couple thick slices of onion and maybe some carrots, some potatoes or celery or something like that, and salt and pepper it, and put like maybe a tablespoon or two of either barbecue sauce or A1 sauce into it and just seal it up and throw it on the coals.
That'll work.
Turn it a couple of times, let it cook for about, half hour, 45 minutes, and you had a real nice, juicy, delicious meal. And people used to do that in the military. They heat up shit like that and put it on their rate or their exhaust systems, cook them in the truck that way.
I remember I Love Lucy, and she was broke. She didn't have any money, and her and Ethel went in this restaurant, and Lucy's telling Ethel, "Hey, we'll take care of this. Don't worry about it." So they both order a cup of hot water, and they're pouring ketchup in the freaking hot water, and they're drinking.
I know somebody that did that.
I'm making tomato soup.
I know somebody that did that. At the end of the month, she was kind of broke, so she got hot water from the cafeteria and just put ketchup in it. He said,
"Yep."
Hey,
you had to do what you had to do to get by back then.
She would go in and get a cup of hot water for, like a coffee break or something, and just put lemon in the cup with hot water, with lemon tea. She had 7 kids.
My kids, I'd take each one of my kids, I would take them to coffee with me. Went to some coffee shop where I'd go meet my cousin who was in partnership with me in a painting business. And we'd go and sit and have coffee. My kids would drink all the freaking creamers on the table.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It didn't matter. French vanilla, whatever. I mean, all the half and half, it'd be gone by the time the waitress got there,
My sister
half and half here.
Anytime we went to a restaurant that had like pancake syrup, at all the tables and the little glass things, she would, just pour it all over her plate and, shovel it up with her spoon and eat it because she has had a lifelong addiction to maple syrup.
But in all seriousness, I mean, that was kind of an eye opener. I Love Lucy, poured ketchup in some hot water and making her own tomato soup. Imagine, I mean, if everything goes to hell in a handbasket, we'd figure it out, we'd figure it out.
It's tomato paste with sugar, vinegar.
Yeah. You're getting some nutritional benefit. And if what you need is calories, go get you some sugar packets,
That's another thing she was doing, with sugar packets and the lemon.
I knew a guy that
Crackers.
He would drink tons and tons and tons of sugar in his coffee and not eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
All he would do is put tons of sugar, all the cream he could put in there, and it was like, 99% sugar, barely any coffee in it. I mean, there's people like that, and they won't eat food.
Yep.
You can make coffee from dandelion root.
It's more of a thing with chicory root than dandelions. I mean,
yeah,
you can use dandelion. It's not going to be that great.
No, it tastes good.
Flavorful.
Roasted dandelion root tastes good. Yeah. It does.
In the jail, they gave us chicory root.
But there's no caffeine in it. None.
No. And they actually say with the chicory root, it's not scientifically proven, but people have been saying for years it's a carcinogen. Just like the same thing with sassafras root, like when Wizard makes his sassafras tea.
Yeah.
Like there is a chance that there's some carcinogenic material in that.
Yep.
Chemical compounds. That's why I think USDA has never, certified sassafras as like an acceptable commercial product because of that.
Well, the USDA also won't let us sell horse meat in America.
Yeah.
You know, before people came from Europe, there were horses here. The Indians hunted them to extinction.
They probably
Well-
came across the land bridge from Siberia.
That was actually you're partly right, Battery. What happened was the Smithsonian Institute had, they showed the chain of evolution on horses. Well, they found out that they weren't actually horses. One of them was an extinct breed of hare, and some of them were not even in the equine family, and they were calling them equines, and they were not. And so the number of horses that were found in North America, the fossils of them are few and far between. I mean, there's not a lot.
They were easy to hunt. They're stupid.
Yeah, a lot of
Horses?
the original wild horses, that they, what are, known as modern horses that live wild out in the West, they've been there for a long time because
They're
they
not
were originally
they're not-
brought over by the conquistadors
Yeah.
in South and Central America, and over the years worked their way north.
I'm going to tell you, camels originated in North America. Yes. Yes,
I know
they did.
I know they've been imported into America in the past.
No.
in-
Ancient fossils of camels, they originated here in North
Yeah.
America.
That is
Yes.
possible. Yeah, I
Okay.
can see that.
I can see them bringing them here.
But I remember reading that back like during the Civil War time, there was some government agency bought and imported a bunch of camels from somewhere over, in the Middle East, and had them shipped like to Texas, and they were actually a couple Army cavalry units that were issued these camels instead of horses, and it just didn't work out.
But camels apparently migrated. They migrated and they died. They died off in North America. They died off a long, long time ago. But they originated here, and the oldest fossils ever found of camels were what you would call camelids, which would include it included the modern, dromedaries and stuff, and then you've got the
Bacterians.
llamas. Llamas are camelids also.
Mhm.
And they can actually make a llama camel hybrid. They've done it already. And
I think and alpacas too. I think they've bred alpacas with llamas before.
Yeah, because they're genetically similar enough. But they did that. The only difference I will tell you between a camel is the toes, camel toes.
Mhm.
Yeah, but camels and llamas are close enough to make a hybrid, but they cannot produce fertile offspring, of course.
Yeah, it's just like a jackass.
And all the llamas in South America originated from North America. At some time, they must have migrated, is what they're thinking. They migrated, and what we have left is the llamas and alpacas and guanaco. It's a little small type of a llama that's called a guanaco in South America. And Battery's wife probably knows about that because they got them in Chile, and they used to hunt guanacos for food. They can't use them for anything else. They're too small. They can't be used as a draft animal or anything.
Yeah.
But they all originated in North America, even the guanaco.
Now, you want to talk about a weird species that is around in Central and South America that probably originated from over here. You ever seen a tapir? A tapir, Tapir?
I've heard that word before. I don't know.
They're kind of like a small to medium-sized animal. Like they can get maybe twice the size of a
Yeah,
large dog.
They have
But-
stripes.
Yeah, but they have like a small snout that overhangs the front of its face. It almost looks like a cut off elephant nose. They're
Yeah.
weird as fuck looking.
Yeah. Yep.
They're probably like some kind of living fossil that, they found their niche down in the South and survived.
Well, I think, in my opinion, I don't know, and nobody else knows for sure, but I kind of believe in that theory of we were all one landmass at one time.
Pangea.
Pangea theory. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of am in that direction on that, because I look at the Earth and it looks like a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Well, yeah, you
You
can
could-
plainly see where Africa and South America were joined at one point.
Yep.
Shit like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And then when
So-
Pangea broke up, it became Gondwana land, and there was something else. And yeah, it's always moving around.
Yeah. Just these tectonic plates have moved, and possibly when that happened, pockets of animals that were isolated to certain regions probably moved along with the landmass, and they just kind of, got established in whatever environment it was.
Yeah,
But-
and like certain species that, survivor species, from way back when that you would hear reports about. I remember I read this in a Louis L'Amour novel, and the popular Western author,
Yeah.
and he wrote his big series of novels that followed a family line throughout the centuries was called the Sacketts, and he had Louis L'Amour was a historian by training, and he wrote an after part of the book that dealt with the history of like pre-Indian North America, and or pre-contact, back before the Europeans came. And there's accredited reports from certain tribes out west, like going back to like the 1600s, where they were still hunting mammoth in isolated parts of the Rocky Mountains.
Hey,
And-
they found some kind of a mammoth in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They were excavating to build a new airport near Mexico City, and they found mammoths down there.
And old prehistoric cave bears that were like 3 times the size of a grizzly. Ground sloths that were like about the same size, and saber-toothed cats.
In Mexico?
Well, in North America.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Pre-Columbian times.
So they might have been around until kind of recent.
Yeah,
That's
within
what-
the last 400 years or so.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. The mammoths were even around since the last 400 years or so.
In the same book, in that afterwards part of the book where they were talking about that, he was saying that Native Americans were finding Roman coins like in the central part of the U.S. Kind of out by where Wizard. I think they were found in Missouri.
They actually found Spanish coins, Spanish doubloons in the southern part of Utah.
Yep.
That were predated Columbus by 200 years. By 200 years. So, in other words, Columbus landed in 1492, but those coins were minted in 200 years prior to that.
Then
They
there's
were
all
minted.
those weird rumors of Egyptian gold being hidden away somewhere down in the Southwest, like kind of like in the Four Corners area.
Yeah. Well, their language originated out of Mexico. A lot of the Native American languages are referred to as Uto-Aztecan languages, and so they had origins from the Aztec Empire.
Then there's all that crazy shit about the Anasazi, or how do they say it?
Anasazi.
Anasazi, yeah. Like the whole tribe, everyone just fucking disappeared like practically overnight.
Yep.
They speculate, based on petroglyphs and cave paintings and stuff, that they might possibly encountered like multi-dimension beings and were transported to, either a different, dimension or possibly time travel.
I asked my Navajo friend what happened to the Anasazi, and he said they got so educated that they knew too much, and they ascended into the sky. That's how he put it.
Yeah.
They got so much knowledge that they ascended to the sky. Because you're right, they disappeared overnight. They do have a type of pinto bean. You know what pinto beans look like.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bean called Anasazi beans, and they look similar to pinto, except pinto beans are spotted. These are more like two-tone speckled beans. And they look similar, but not the same. They taste the same. I mean, the Anasazi beans taste just like a pinto bean when you cook them. I've had them.
I remember reading National Geographic back in the day. They said that, when they first started making the discoveries of the Anasazi cliff dwellings, that they discovered clay pots that were stored with ancient grains and beans from those times, and they were actually able to germinate them and use them to develop new I guess hybrids.
Not really hybrids, they're just sprouting from whatever they had back then.
Genotypes and shit.
Yeah.
Lost genotypes.
Yep. Same thing happened with a sunken ship they found that had casks of beer that was still good.
Yeah, they saved the yeast from it. We were talking about that the other night.
That's that 211 beer.
And then out in Israel, I remember reading about 10 years ago in the news, they made a discovery. They found some caves like up in the Golan Heights or something, where they found a whole bunch of stored food from, biblical times. And I think one of the world's oldest trees, like they still say that there's a relative of the original Methuselah tree that's still alive. They were able to, produce a seed and have started growing it. That's like got to be about 40 years old by now, but they were able to, coax it back into life.
There's a really, really old tree in Utah. It has a name. I think it's called the General Sherman. I can't remember, but it is a bristlecone pine.
Yep. Bristlecone.
And you can buy seeds to plant your own bristlecone pines.
Mm-hmm. I actually have.
It's over 1,000 years old.
Years back, I was interested in learning how to do wood turning. Making pens and other kinds of crap from wooden blanks. And I was like really into it, and I started like buying on eBay all kinds of exotic wood blanks and stuff, and I got some bristlecone pine blanks.
Really?
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Well,
Like,
there's more than one bristlecone pine. That's not the only one. But there's other bristlecone pines that they probably have harvested, but they're not as old
there's
as
an
this one.
area in California where a lot of that's out there, but I think it's a protected species now, and you can't collect it anymore unless it's like officially declared dead wood.
Yep.
And
cypress.
Yep.
Cypress trees in Florida, you can't harvest them either, but you can dredge them out of the rivers and the canals.
Yeah.
If you find them. So a lot of people went out there logging for cypress because they made a lot of stuff out of cypress, and a lot of the logs, they stayed submerged. They eventually submerged. It's such a hard wood that it sank to the bottom, and it's still sitting there, and people have been recovering it.
Where I worked up in Canada, we had a lot of that up there because back like between 100 and 150 years ago, there was a huge logging industry in that area. They completely wiped out the entire landscape for thousands of miles. And the rivers where I paddled my canoe around, there was sunken logs still popping up. We call them deadheads.
Yeah.
Because like one end would work itself loose from the bottom of the river and it would float up. You'd only see a tiny little top of it, but there was a whole fucking log there. And if you hit it with your boat, you fucked up your boat.
Yeah.
I bent the fuck out of the prop on our little 9-point boat. Oh.
It's called it's logs like that are called waterlogged.
Yep.
That's where the word came from.
Yeah, they weigh a fucking
in
ton.
the water when they're in the water long enough, they will sink. So, any lurkers showing up yet besides Platoon?
There's that my pronouns are dude and bro guy a while back. Let me check the actual Twitch and see what's going on there.
I kind of wanted to talk to you off screen about something.
We could do that. Can we do that? Let me check.
It's not anything pressing or, anything like that.
We can't do that. Nope. I thought maybe we could, but I'd have to end the stream.
Right.
But if it's what I think you want to talk about, it's been taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Twitch stats, and it says Glass Mafia is lurking, Miriam's lurking, Valentine's lurking, and a bunch of bots.
Bunch of bots.
So Miriam and Valentine and Mafia, say something.
We know you're here now. Freaking lurkers. That's okay. Miriam she's in her happy place, I think. Yep.
Oh, I got a text from Wiz. I don't think he's going to be on tonight. His power went down.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I talked to him just before I started up the stream about that issue. And
apparently it's been raining over there too, so he's had a lot of clouds.
Yeah.
And he's kind of housebound.
Yeah.
Today. So he's probably bummed out or something. I don't know.
I think I woke him up when I called him, so he might have just said fuck it and went back to bed.
Yeah, he does that.
There we go. Glass Mafia
Glass Mafia, how's it going?
Good seeing you. Yeah, me and Bill have some good conversations when there's no one else here.
When there's nobody grandstanding on here.
Yeah. I brought this up earlier in the chat before you showed up. Have you seen what like the number one headline in the news is right now?
No.
Apparently a review opinion was leaked out of the Supreme Court today, and it got picked up by Politico and they published it. And it looks like the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe Wade.
Oh, wow.
So, like, they've started beefing up the security around the Supreme Court complex, putting up big chain link fences and everything, because there's probably going to be a shitload of protesters out there, if not by now, by tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the article.
Left-wing protesters?
Oh, of course. Yeah, the whole pro-abortion crowd is losing their minds online right now.
You mean, yeah, oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. No,
yeah, the headline on the Gateway Pundit. Go ahead.
I just said I'm cognitively trying to assemble that in my brain right now. Okay, I gotcha.
Okay, yeah, the protests have already started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as of 10:30, so about an hour ago, the protests have started. Yeah, draft opinion by Alito got leaked to the press, most likely by a liberal law clerk inside the court.
Yep.
And okay, let's see what else in the last 2 hours. Let's see. Bernie Sanders calls for Senate to end filibuster and pass legislation that codifies Roe versus Wade. Of course. Hillary Clinton, quote, "It will kill and subjugate women," unquote.
Now you know where her heart is.
Oh, yeah. And then Democrats scream and wail like demons after news breaks. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, because she can't sell her baby body parts.
Exactly.
Of course, she's going to say something. Fucking whore. I swear, that woman, I swear she's the whore of Babylon. Jezebel incarnate. Let the weeping and wailing commence.
All those viral clips of like completely insane liberal women screaming at the sky and everything, and it's going to unfold all over again.
Oh, yeah. In their pussy hats. I saw some guy just last week wearing a pink pussy hat. I was like, what the hell, dude?
I'd bitch slap that dude across the face. If I saw that, I'm like, come on.
He was driving in his car, had a pink pussy hat on. Middle-aged guy with a beard, big beard and everything. It was unbelievably ridiculous. And I do see occasional Bernie stickers on people's cars. Every once in a while, I see them.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the car is a Volvo. or something like that. It's never an American car.
It's usually a beat up piece of crap.
Yeah. Oh. I'm glad I don't have to deal with the public like that anymore on a long basis. Oh. Yeah, I remember when I was still working at the gas station, we had all those fucking Occupy idiots going around when the first Occupy movement was happening. And you get all these bread and butter white liberal people from all over the country, and they were like caravanning to New York City and Chicago to go protest, and they were stopping at my store for gas, and they come in and got all their t-shirts on and everything, and they're all asking us, did you guys support us? I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm a capitalist. I'll take your money and tell you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the temperature just dropped. It was actually kind of hot. I was sweating. Temperature just dropped though. Clouds.
Another inversion.
No, it's windy.
Mm.
The only time we get an inversion is when there's no wind.
Yeah, it was like mid upper 50s today. Slightly breezy. It was all right. It was supposed to rain all day too. We lucked out. I think like we had a slight sprinkle in the morning, and that was it.
There's still a lot of places in the country that have snow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think out by Bruce. I think there's still snow out by him.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing it every here and there. Alaska's still got a lot, but they've got bears coming out already. So they got to be careful.
That's a weird thing. I don't see any news anymore out of Alaska or Hawaii.
Yeah.
It never makes it into like my news filters. Like the last thing that I can think of that I've seen recently was there was this mysterious sighting in Alaska maybe a month ago where this object appeared in the sky over this one mountain, and from different angles it looked like different things. People were saying it looked like a UFO. People were saying it looked like a chemtrail. People said it looked like a fire trail, like smoke from a fire. Other people were like, oh, it's one of those big gigantic rod creatures and shit like that. And it got to the point where like enough calls were coming in that they sent a couple National Guard helicopters to go, look at it. And they said it was some kind of weird atmospheric effect, something, particles in the air reflecting light weirdly or something like that. That's last I heard. And that was about a month ago.
Yeah, and probably the whole topic just died right after they put that publication out, I bet.
Probably.
That's why they put publications like that out.
I saw a weird story today. Not out in Utah, I think. Where's Lake Mead at? Is that Arizona?
Like what?
Mead.
Oh, Nevada.
Okay.
That's the Hoover Dam.
Yeah. It's out, I guess today or yesterday, somewhere on Lake Mead, a boater found an old like 55-gallon drum that was stuffed with human remains that had been like decaying for probably like 40 years, it sounds like.
Was it due to the low water level or something?
They're saying that's why the barrel was exposed and they found it now is because the water level is so low. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're finding sunken boats and stuff in Lake Powell and Lake Mead.
Mm-hmm.
That they never even knew the boat sunk.
Yep. They just announced, I think it was back in March, or maybe in February, they found another sunken ship in Lake Erie off the Ohio coast, back from the old Age of Sail days, like
Wow.
a commerce ship from probably
Huh.
like the late 1700s or something. They find them all the time. Lake Erie has so many shipwrecks, it's ridiculous.
Well, I did a little research and I found out a lot of countries were still using tall sail ships right through the 1990s for shipping. They were
Yeah, a
still
lot of
using
third
them.
world countries still use them.
Yeah. But like the country of Ecuador, Chile, some other countries still use them for hauling spices and goods and everything. They still use tall sail ships on
Tried and
occasion.
true method, If you can't
Yep.
afford, modern vessels, go what you got to go with.
Well, it's not just that. It's fuel prices now. People might be looking at that too. You never know.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of them that are decommissioned, but they're still saleable. So that'd be cool to start seeing those big vessels like that, tall ships.
Yeah. The oldest commissioned ship in the U.S. Navy is still the USS Constitution. That huge ass man of war ship, wooden sail. I don't know where they have it at. I know they had to move it a few years ago to do some restoration work on it, but I think it's back in its home port, wherever that is.
Huh.
But the cool thing about it is that when they have to do restoration work on it, they only use the same species of wood.
Yeah,
and it's mostly like white oak is what they used.
exactly.
And there's only one place in the country that they get it from. They actually have a place in Indiana. It's in southern Indiana. It's an actual naval base called Crane Naval Activity. And it's like basically a big weapons workshop. They, build and maintain weapons and munitions out there. And the place is huge, hundreds of miles. And it's way out in the middle of like south central Indiana, out in the boonies. And they have forests and shit down there on the property. And there is a specific grove of old American white oak trees. They call it Constitution Grove, and that's where they harvest the trees to make the lumber for that ship.
Yeah, white oak is the best for ship making.
Yeah, I guess these trees are big enough that they can actually cut, huge angled pieces to fit in, odd spots to fill in, rotting timbers and hull pieces and ribs for the boats and shit like that. I'm no naval architect, but
I know
interesting
England.
factoid.
England was notorious for white oak.
Yep. They almost killed it off because they were, building so many ships.
But I think there's some other places that they got white oak from too, besides England.
Well, they were colonial,
Yeah.
They could go wherever they want and, on all their colonies and get the oak if they had it there.
Tell you a type of wood. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I might have mentioned it. The gumbo limbo tree.
No, that one doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. When I was in Florida, and it was actually at a state park, they told us about it because I'd never heard of it. And apparently, it was a tree. It was a tree that they they might have completely eradicated it. That grew all over in Florida, and they made merry-go-round horses out of the gumbo limbo tree.
Huh.
Back around the turn of the century.
Was like easy to work with, or
I think that was part of the reason. Yeah.
yeah, we got a couple of old historic merry-go-rounds here in Ohio. Some of the oldest in the country.
Yeah, I haven't seen old-fashioned merry-go-rounds in a long time.
In fact, some of them are, they're no longer functioning. The amusement parks have been torn down for decades and everything. They actually saved some of the carousel pieces, and they're, in local art museums as exhibits. Yeah. The handcraftsmanship that goes into that, is amazing. They're like statues.
You know what else we don't have much of anymore that used to be everywhere? Were
Drive-ins.
wax museums.
No, I've never been to one. Never had the desire to.
If you ever made a trip across the United States, you'd probably run into a wax museum back in the 1960s.
Yeah, the only place I've seen them down in Gatlinburg at the Smoky Mountains. There's one or two down there, and then up in Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, they got a couple of them. But I never went to them; just saw them.
There's a world famous wax museum. It's called Madame Something or Other Wax Museum, and
in France. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got all the presidents.
I think it's like Madame Tussauds or something like that.
Yeah. But
they got all the presidents, and they got worldly. I think at one point they even had a wax figure of Hitler.
Yeah. They used to have them in Nevada. You drive across Nevada and see a road sign that said Wax Museum. Nevada, up in Idaho, all over. You don't see them anymore.
It's just like all over the country. Like you see those like just goofy, out of the way tourist trap attractions, and it's just somebody that builds something like really big. Like here in Ohio, we got like drive down State Route 45, 5 miles, and you can see the world's largest rocking chair and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Or the world's biggest, wooden barrel, or whatever dumb shit.
Well, and California had a lot of wax museums too. And they had, around the country, they used to have like mini villages. There would be like train sets with cars and stuff. And you'd pay money, to go see it.
Yeah, like here in Ohio, like I think they're actually run by the state park system. They have a bunch of old historical villages from I think going back to like the 1600s that are completely restored. And they have a curator staff that, actually work there and portray in period costume, the daily life of the people from the village and shit. We got quite a few of those here in Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be a lot of that everywhere. There was you can go and see, if you come out here, you can see Brigham Young's original house. And you could see that there's a place called the Beehive House, and that's where all his wives lived. Well, not all of them, but it's like seven houses altogether, something like that. I think it's 7 or 13. I can't remember, but it had a bunch of Brigham Young's wives living in those. There's little weird attractions that you can see out here when you come out here. I don't care about any of that anymore. You know, that's when I was a kid, when we first moved here from California, we wanted to see all that stuff, you know. We used to want to see all the attractions, but they were all highway robbery things, you know. It was always some kind of way to make you pay a little bit more, dig in your pocket a little bit deeper, and, you know, pay a little more. But people in the 60s and 70s would just jump in their car and go drive somewhere.
Yep.
You know, and it was a pastime. It was an American pastime. Let's go for a drive.
It was right after Eisenhower did establish the interstate highway system. You know, so the whole country was kind of opened up for people to do road travel like that. And then you'd see all the motor lodges popping up, and the old-fashioned family-run gas stations that would, you know, be right next to the hotel, the motor lodge, and kind of like out by like where Don is, you know, with the Alien Inn and, you know, Alien Truck Stop and all that crap out there.
Yeah, roadside attractions.
Yeah.
Where you can go in, you buy a soda pop because it's hotter than hell and you're out in the desert.
Yep.
You know?
You see a sign, it's like last gas for 45 miles or something like that.
Oh yeah, last chance gas station.
We see that in Backroads, Ohio too. It's like, you know, no gas available for 30 miles if you go down this one road, you know. I've seen them before.
Yeah, we have them here.
It's out in Appalachia.
Up where I go deer hunting and elk hunting, there's a gas station. I ran out of gas and went in to pay for my gas, and the guy told me, he says, "We don't take credit cards." I said, "I got no cash on me." I said, "Can I give you a check?" He says, "We don't take checks." He showed me a wall of all the bounced checks.
Yeah.
that got in there, you know, and he was just a little small one lung guy, you know, one lung operation. And it was, and I said, "What do you want me to do? Drain my gas out of my truck?" You know, I just filled it up.
Yeah, I've heard of places like that out west where they're cash only, and the only option for you if you don't have cash, they offer Western Union service. So if you can get on your phone and have somebody wire you some money, that's the only way to get around the only cash thing.
Well, I don't know how I got out of there. I don't remember what happened, but I know that I was stuck there for a really long time, trying to negotiate with this guy to try to let me go down the road, you know. Yeah. And I was exhausted because I'd been deer hunting, you know, and I was just like completely exhausted. So never again will I ever go up there. And it said last chance gas. You know, it said last chance gas for such and such miles, next gas station, Park City, Utah, blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I'm not going to make it. And I had to, and it was super expensive gas too. The guy was a fucking asshole. He kept me there. I mean,
he probably chose that place. You know, he looked at a map and worked out the distance and said, "That's the best place I could put a station in." And, you know,
oh yeah,
you know, overcharge folks and be a dick.
Yeah, he seemed like he had a big old fat ego too. You know. Yeah, there's people like that around. Oh well. It's a place called Currant Creek. That's where it was. It was Currant Creek. And it was right there before you go into the Currant Creek Canyon, right at the mouth of it. and you go up there, and it was like, oh my gosh, you go up there, and it's all high mountain passes. I mean, you're driving through glaciers and everything.
Yeah.
I got stuck in a glacier up there. It was a glacier,
What
and I
state
thought,
is this all in?
I'm looking down into these woods, and I see, what looked like hard ice. And I thought, if I could just make it over there, I could make it over that pass and get into town. So I've got my son, and he's a little kid at the time, my middle son. And I decide I'm in a 77 Ford pickup, and I decided just put the pedal to the metal. I'm just going to go for it. And I freaking gunned it. Next thing I knew, all of a sudden it just bogs down. Boom.
Yeah.
And I go, damn. And my son goes, damn. And he's like 5 years old, It's the first time I ever heard my son cuss. And I hit that glacier, and it took me till after dark to dig out of there. I was digging. I had some shitty little shovel or something, and I was digging out of there. And I was on my CB radio trying to get help and stuff. I thought I was doomed.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally got dug out of there, I'm driving down, and it's dark. It's just barely a little bit of light, off in the distance. And I'm going down this old road, and huge, massive herds of elk crossing back and forth in front of me.
Mm.
And I had to slow down, or I would have hit one, But there's this creek going down there, and the creek has got wild currant berries all along, growing along that creek. And
Nice.
they're so good. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I love currants.
Amazing fishing, the deer, everything, the elk. I mean, it is just amazing up there. I love my mountains. I don't think I can ever trade them. I couldn't trade them for another lifestyle, really. Problem is a lot of those really pristine, nice places like that, people are moving into them and building cabins and survival bug out locations and shit. So, but I could still show you, and I was telling Miriam, I could show you land right now up in the Hyena primitive area where no human foot has ever stepped.
I believe it.
Not even Indians, nothing. You won't find a cigarette butt. You won't find any proof of humans being there ever.
It's nice to note that there's still places like that.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely wild. And I don't think that, and they're so vast, these mountain ranges are so vast that I don't think that they really know what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a Sasquatch, it could live there. I was telling you about the fish, the wild currents, the elk, the deer. I'm sure if Sasquatch exists, it lives up there. It's like Canada. You go up in the Yukon and stuff up in Canada, and there's no. You'll find places that there's no evidence of any human beings ever having been there.
Yep, all over northern Canada, and there's still a lot of that in Alaska too.
Yeah. Yep. When you go into Denali State Park, that's really primitive. Around Mount McKinley,
The state park or the national park?
Well, the national park, I mean.
Yeah.
It's very, very primitive. likelihood you're going to die is high. If you go up in there and, well, whether you're packing a pistol or bear spray or whatever, still got a likelihood of dying, a high likelihood. Because you could get up there, get stuck, and not be able to get back out and not figure your way out. The best thing to do in cases like that, and, we've talked about it before with Bruce Wayne, and that is, make sure you tell people where you're going and how long you're going to be up there, and, give them an idea.
Yeah.
And then probably have some kind of a way to signal people if you get in trouble.
Well, there's a lot of people that do backpacking and, real isolated area access where they'll actually carry around those EPIRB beacons.
Yeah.
So if they're out in an area that, they can't get cell coverage, and if they don't have a satellite phone, they can set off that beacon, and there's some government agency that tracks those things live, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they'll be, they can track you down and send a helicopter.
A lot of those beacons only have about a 3-day life in them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they say. To only, if you have to activate it, you turn it on for like an hour, and then you shut it off, and then broadcast like for 5 minutes at the top of each, next hour to conserve the battery life.
Yeah.
And another fact that I learned years back was that if you're in the backcountry and you actually have like weak cell service or intermittent cell service, don't try and make a call. It's better to try and send a text because it uses less cellular data to actually transmit. So if you got, 1 bar or a low battery, it uses less energy and less bandwidth to send a text than it does like a voice call.
I want to get one of those personal solar panels to throw in my backpack so that I could put my phone, or if I have a Garmin or something like that.
Yeah, they have. I've seen small ones that they actually design them so that they're wearable. Like you can rack them around your, throw a loop around your neck and have it hang down your back or your chest, or attach it like to your hat and have it hang down your back and shit.
Yeah. Even if they spot your beacon, it still might take them over a week to get to you,
Yep.
So, yeah, that's pretty harsh. And nothing like the Canadian wilderness. I think there's a very few people that could, modern day people that could, unless they've had a lot of outback experience and stuff, they would not survive it by any means.
Yeah.
It will definitely show how tough you are.
Oh, believe me, I wasn't in any kind of extreme and wilderness where I was at as far as terrain goes, but where I was working up there, I got lost once up there. I got separated from my group when we were portaging some canoes overland, and I was, it was a good 2 hours until I got my bearings, and yeah, it's very easy to get lost and get into a fucked up situation in Canada.
In the Canadian Rockies, see, we've got, we're in the Rockies, we're in the foothills of the Rockies, but in the Canadian Rockies, there's places you go up canyons and stuff in the Rockies there, and no daylight ever hits it. So it's always ice and snow.
Yep.
It never melts. Daylight can't, hit it because the crags and stuff that you're walking in. And I know places like that here, actually. There's snow all year round. And it can snow all year round.
Yep. Hey, Diesel's in the chat. What's up, Diesel?
Yeah, in fact, there's a pass. I went up. I was decided to take a shortcut and use this pass to get home quicker, and got up there at the top of the pass, and it's called Tabiona Pass, and it was July. It was late July, and it was snowing up there. In fact, the road was covered with snow. The snow piles were like 10 feet high on both sides. So it was melting, but then it would freeze again and then melt and freeze again and snow, and even in the summer. And it was above the timber line. But it was a shortcut. But it wasn't fun getting over that pass in the middle of summer. I mean, it was bad. Yeah, it is quiet. It is quiet tonight.
Aaron is still alive.
Yeah, he's doing overtime, it looks like. Yeah, but we got good people in the chat here. We get some quality lurkers. Yeah, it's clouding up pretty good. The clouds are looking pretty thick. I'm liking that. Need some rain. It could snow here.
You always need rain.
Yeah. Well, not always. I mean, we've had good years and bad years. We're in a extreme drought situation right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at my forecast. We're supposed to start getting some rain about 7 o'clock in the morning. And it looks like it's going to continue all day.
Cool. Well, if you
And
look at
thunderstorms too.
All you got to do is Google Lake Mead, and you will see how low it is right now. It's not good at all. It's like down to a little creek. It's down to a little creek now. Got more jets flying over.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, this is like a super highway for military aircraft. Super highway.
Well, there's a lot of training that takes place down there your way. What is that? Luke Air Force Base down by Phoenix. They're out training every fucking day. They got, that they train a lot of foreign pilots there. They have like a huge area set up. It's an international joint, agreement with a bunch of our NATO allies. Germans and a bunch of Turkey, Greece. They all send people down to train down there. I don't know if they do any training like that at Hill out by you, but you got National Guard fighters down there too.
Yeah, they do. I'm gonna have my mic off for a minute. I'll be back in a second. I'm listening though.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, pronouns. The quality of a lurker is expressed by how often they actually interact. You can't be a quality lurker if you're always quiet. You gotta at least make an effort to type every once in a while. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I drank a lot of water.
There we go.
And finally went down to the well over here and got some water. So must have drank a freaking half a gallon of water.
Now, how good's your water there? Is it soft or is it hard or?
It's hard. It's hard water.
Okay. Yeah,
In
ours
fact,
is pretty hard too.
It leaves a crust on your faucets and stuff.
Yeah, the well that we have set up right now, there's 3 wells on the property. Only one of them's in use. And it's probably a good, say, 250 feet away from the house and feed, it has an underground feed to the house. And the only thing that we have it set up for right now, I mean, technically you could plumb it to, the whole house if you wanted to. I think at one point we did. But right now it's just set up. You control it in the basement, and there's an electric pump for it. And it only runs to the outdoor spigot on the side of the house. And there's a line that runs into the barn that I guess my grandpa had it set up that way to water the cows back in the day. And it is kind of hard. There's a water softening system in the basement. I don't even know if the thing actually works or is set up or hooked up to it or not. No one's touched it in forever. Oh, and he gone. And he'll be back. Like Hawk Harrelson, the announcer from the Chicago White Sox. His trademark line.
Sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button.
He gone. And he back.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to know places where I could literally find springs that came out of the ground. But
Yep.
our access to it has been, a lot of these companies have been selling bottled water, been buying up the property where a lot of these springs are.
Same here. Actually, there was a spring about maybe 500 feet north of my property. I used to love going there as a teenager, and the spring was, I don't even know how wide it was. It was like the surface area of the spring was probably about 3 feet. There was like a ceramic wellhead built around it. It was just, It was in the middle of a farmer's field, surrounded by a ring of trees and a ring of blackberry bushes. I used to go back there all the time and pick the blackberries. And the land sold to a developer, and they put a housing development in, and they dug up the surface area of the spring, bulldozed it and fucked it all up. But the two houses that were nearer that, their backyards are always, soft.
Yeah.
Anytime they get any rain, they get standing water back there, and they're all like, why is our backyard always fucked up? And I remember running into someone at the store one time who lived there. And he's like, yeah, our backyard's always fucked up. And I'm like, it's because there used to be a spring back there. And he's like, huh? Like, didn't your developer, when you bought the house, tell you about that?
Yeah.
Like, I could show you on, county maps from way back, to the 50s, where the spring was always marked. Yeah, what do we got here?
Grasshopper.
Screen. Yep, I can see the legs. Nice. Is that balsa?
That's balsa. But once I get that clear coat on there, it'll start to, take up some of the imperfections and stuff. Yeah, I've been studying grasshoppers lately. Studying very, very closely all different types of grasshoppers. I'm not sure if this one is really accurate, but
well, man, I'm gonna have to go dig around in my files. I used to be, my artistic talent has always been photography, and I was really into it for a long time. I just don't have the time for it anymore. The last few years that I was into it, I got into macro photography, like close-ups, and I was mostly doing insects because there's so many around the farm. And I got some really good close-up photos of some grasshoppers.
Really?
I'll have to dig around and find them and either text them or email them to you.
Yeah. Yeah, text them to me. But now, I think I'm putting this marine urethane varnish on the bare wood. That'll seal it up really well. And then the final stage is epoxy. So after I decorate it with all its native looking stuff and, markings and everything, then it will be epoxied.
Like clear acrylic style?
Not acrylic. It's just epoxy. Yeah, I have this casting and coating epoxy resin, and then I have a 5-minute. It's called clear weld, and I'm probably going to use the clear weld because it's such a small lure that I'll be able to get it on there fast enough to get it hanging.
Gotcha.
But the ones that are bigger, I'll use the 30-minute, and that 30-minute. Well, is it 30? I don't know.
I think you said it was the other night.
But it's crystal clear, self-leveling, non-flammable, resist yellowing, 40-minute work time. It's got a 40-minute work time. The problem with those is that you got to kind of put it on thin or it will puddle and you'll get lumpy stuff, So.
Okay.
It'll look like it's got leprosy. I don't want my lures to look like leprosy. And balsa wood, it's so soft, the only way to keep a fish from destroying it is by epoxying the shit out of it. So, but it looks good. Yeah, I like it. I like balsa wood. It's really light. It floats really well. It's a good top water lure. So One I'm working on right now is going to be another yellow jacket, but this one is hinged like a swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just putting the base coat of marine urethane on it first before I start working the colors and the designs and stuff on it. And that will seal up all the wood and everything, so that it makes it a lot smoother to paint your details and everything when you use the urethane first. And I don't always use the marine urethane. I use a floor urethane too. Just kind of depends. Floor urethane seems to soak in better, but it seals it up really good. I think the marine is more thick like honey. This one is, I've got it hinged in the middle. Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh, two-piecer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to have one hook on the back. Probably going to be a single hook on the back there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. The exciting thing is when you catch fish with it. If I catch fish. If not, it just, maybe I'll make a display case and put all my stupid ones that I don't catch fish with. Display them. Oh, yeah, it's my work of art. It doesn't catch fish, but, you know.
All right, I'm going to share a photo, and I will send this to you by text once I can figure out where it actually is on my computer. But I have it uploaded on a file photo sharing site, so I'll just share the screen so you can get an idea of it. Come on, where are you? Oh, God, it just wants to be difficult. Okay. Share. There we go.
And you know, fish is brain food.
Yeah, so they say.
Yeah. It's the choline. It's the choline that's in fish. It's really good for your brain.
All right, there it is up on screen. You can see it full size. I took that back in 2013. Yeah.
I don't see anything. I only see a fire.
Give it a second. There might be some lag on my end.
Okay. I don't know. My grandmother used to say fish was brain food. So I don't know.
Now, do you guys have a lot of dragonflies around there?
Yes. Tons.
Ever try making a dragonfly lure?
That's a thought.
I got a lot of good pictures of dragonflies too.
I've actually, one of the guys that is a lure maker, who kind of inspired me to want to start this. See, nobody taught me. I just YouTubed it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But so I really don't know. But I had an uncle teach me. My uncle taught me about tying flies and making spoons and things like that, but not actually carving lures. And Anyway, I YouTubed it, and that's basically my inspiration. I'll put a plug in for the guy's name. It's Marling Baits. Marling Baits. This guy makes the most premium baits. I'm not even close to as good as his are. So, yeah.
You see that on the screen?
Huh? I see it.
Cool.
Yeah, dragonflies can be stunningly beautiful, the colors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's real tricky to photograph them up that close. Like, you have to stalk them. Move real slow to get up close and get your camera set up to do those kind of shots. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Just walk around the pond for a couple hours and take photos. That was my thing for a while.
So look at the colors that are just on the wings itself. I mean, the body's beautiful, but the wings are, I mean, those are just beautiful. Is that an Ohio type of dragonfly?
Yeah, it's a blue widow skimmer.
Okay.
They're common all over the Great Lakes areas.
Oh, wow.
West. Yeah, I'd have to look up some Western species, something that would be around by you. But I could find some photos. It's one of the best photos I've ever taken, if I'm honest with myself.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I've seen dragonflies all different colors, different wing configurations. Even the shape of their wings are different.
Yep.
So if you're going to try and duplicate it, just not any old dragonfly will do. If you're trying to duplicate something from the area where you live, I mean, any old dragonfly ain't gonna do the job. I mean, if you're trying to get it, true to form for the area where you live, you really got to study them. You could make a generic dragonfly.
Yeah.
But they don't, I don't know. If you're trying to deceive the fish to catch them, with a type of an artificial bait more than a lure. I think a lure and an artificial bait are really kind of different things. A lure is something that's just an attractant, It's an artificial bait, yeah, but it's just a bait that attracts a fish. That could be a spinner. It doesn't look like anything, just the bright colors and the flashing from the spinner.
Yeah, all the different kind of spoons that they make and everything.
Well, an angler, angling and fly fishing are more about deceiving the fish to make it think the artificial bait you're using is their food source. And that's really what angling is all about. So you're going to use something that deceives the fish to make it look like its food source. And that's why your real successful fishermen that go out after, muskie and pike and stuff like that, sturgeon, they're really particular. I mean, they pay. I just watched Marling Baits. He paid $200 for a lure from Holland.
Wow.
Of some type of pike from a famous, renowned lure maker. So it's not like something that you'll ever find at a Bass Pro Shop or anything like that. But the lure makers and the pros that are into that, they know each other. They know each other. They know who's making really good lures, and
But this particular one from Netherlands, it was beyond compare. I mean, we even had a little stamp of the crown of Holland and everything in it. It was so cool. It was the most beautiful lure I've ever seen. It was a door hinged swim bait,
Okay.
and he was out fishing with it, and he freaking lost it. He lost his lure. A fish grabbed it, and it was gone. Whatever it was a big one, and it snapped his line, and he lost a freaking $200 lure. So, yeah, it was the piano hinge swim bait, 3-sectional, had rubber fins that looked realistic in the water, swam perfectly balanced, and I think some muskie came and grabbed it, took it. Now he's out $200.
Was
And
he
I-
using a steel leader?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he's a pro fisherman. I mean, he knows what he had a steel leader, and it snapped it. Braided steel leader. You could use a solid steel leader, but a lot of them use braided. And my grandpa used to have a downrigger line. It was leaded line, so he could. So when he'd be trolling up at the reservoirs and stuff. He was going after the big lake trout.
Yeah, they use that here when they go trolling for walleye
Yep.
out on Lake Erie.
Well, yeah. My grandpa, I mean, he used to fish for tuna and everything. He'd go down to Belize and catch sailfish and shit, you know. He had an old man tackle box that would just blow people away. The lures he had. But he bought, you know, he'd pay the money and buy them. He didn't make them. But he knew how to make them. But he'd rather buy them, you know. He was my step grandpa. So Miriam is talking about, you know, being down in the jungle down there. That's Belize is like that. Crystal blue waters. Just crystal blue. Hundreds of feet down, you could see fish, big hammerheads and stuff swimming around. Unbelievable. Saw pictures of it. He built his own boat. He had a cabin cruiser. I don't think he built the cabin cruiser, but the next one down, the aluminum boat that he had, that was more like his lake boat, that one he built. Big old outboard motor on it and everything. And then he had a smaller one, and that was a little inky-dinky trolling boat. I think it had like a little Johnson trolling motor on it. But he owned an auto parts store. So they used to machine engines for race cars. And some of the engine parts that they machined and put in, they raced in the Baja, and they won the Baja like 5 straight years in a row. His 2 sons, my step grandpa's 2 sons. All that they built right there in that machine shop. Grand Nationals, that was the race. The Grand Nationals. Yep. Diesel, you still in here?
don't know.
I don't know what NAC is, but I do know that choline is really, really important for your brain. And that is something that vegans are missing, is choline in their diet. And you can't get it from vegetables at all. And the highest levels of, you can get it, it's in chicken and poultry, but not significant like fish. And there is no vegan version of choline. But maybe Diesel's gone or something. I don't know if he's still in here. Well, where is everybody?
I think everybody is asleep.
Is Aaron still going?
I'm looking right now. Yeah, he's still going. He's got 16 people.
Oh, so he's barely going.
Yeah, he's still going. Yeah, over on Twitch, it says Diesel and Valentine are lurking.
I must be boring, maybe.
There's pretty much nobody from our group over at Aaron's. It's all the weirdo new people he's got.
Yeah.
He's playing his harmonica. He's still wanting to get high and fucked up.
Oh.
People in the chat are complaining about his harmonica. Like, oh, my poor fucking ears.
And then there's people that say how great he is on it, you know.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever heard him play a song yet.
No, not just variations on his Fire in the Bowl theme.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are plenty of videos on YouTube that teach you how to play harmonica. You should take advantage of that. You can tell he enjoys it.
Well, you know, part of how I learned is just listening to songs and trying to play them.
Yeah, dude, you play good harmonica. I've heard you play. You're pretty good. Hey, what's up, Don?
I didn't want to. I was tired of hearing you guys whine about nobody being around here, nobody being here. So, oh, we're all alone.
Well,
It's
me
so
and
horrible.
Bill can hold a good conversation, you know.
You guys do a great job. You really do. And that's why I'm like, well, why do you need me? Why do you need somebody else? You do a wonderful job. I love listening to Bill talk about lures. I do.
Well, thank you.
So why? What's the problem?
There
We
isn't
need
one, really.
your opinion on
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. There's no problem. What can I do for you? You don't want to hear what I have to say. Nobody does. Go ahead.
I want to hear your opinion on whether or not we should smoke another bowl before we shut down.
You know what? I normally would not give my opinion in such controversial issues such as that, because that tends to be more of a political, socioeconomic suggestion than it does, anyway. But yeah, the answer is yes. We should smoke another bowl before we do, well, pretty much anything.
Sounds like a plan.
So I'll just call it fire in the motherfucking bowl.
Cool. Fire in the bowl.
Oh.
So I went to the local dispensary, like I do. And they had something new that was, well, what I thought was massively overpriced, but it was 80% THC sativa.
Jesus
It
Christ.
was a cart is what it was. It was a cartridge, exactly.
Wow.
So I've had carts before, and I never thought that they were that potent, but okay. I mean, I know they're doing some wonderful things with concentrates these days.
Yeah.
I just choke on them all the time. They just give me bong lung. But I figured, okay, what the fuck? It's Friday night. It's, I feel like something new. Let's give it a shot. So I did. And what I found was that the cart was 80% fucking THC, baby. It was, you take 2 hits of this and it's time for nights. But it's 2 hits of, it's concentrated, but it has some chemicals in it that always make me cough. So there's no way for me to get around coughing on these hits. Now the hits are fucking, they're like, baseball bats to the head, but you're coughing. Anyway, that's my story. That's all I got.
So are they natural chemicals that?
You know what? I don't think they are. I've seen 2 types of carts in my time, my limited experience. One type is live rosin carts. A buddy of mine, Bearded Bud Brothers, he grows some of the greatest concentrated weed, and he does all kinds of things with them, including making his own carts. And his concentrates are wonderful, and they never make me cough. But all he does is, let me see. Everything he does is natural. He doesn't use any chemicals to as catalysts to concentrate his weed or his juice, so to speak. Those were wonderful, but they were not as high powered as these. Now these propane, that's it. Diesel knows more about them than I do. This is where I have to kind of pawn off to somebody that knows what the fuck's going on here. They do use artificial, let me see, what does he say? You have to worry about added terpenes, which are artificial, and what they use to extract, whether it's propane, butane, etc. Live rosin uses pressure and heat to extract. See, now I've had the live rosins, and they rock, but they're not as powerful. Right now, this one is not a live rosin, and I think it's using one of those propane, butane, ethane, one of those catalysts to concentrate the I don't know, what do you want to call it? Juice?
Yeah, the extraction.
And it works. It concentrates it concentrates the shit. It just makes me cough. So, but Diesel knows more about the chemical makeup than I do about it. BHO. There it is. Right there. Butyl something oxide. Yeah. It'll hit though. Yeah, that's for damn sure, baby. It'll hit. Fucking yes, sir. But I have to temper it with some flour. I do.
Yeah.
So what we got here is in regard to the water shortage is we're not getting enough water really to run the hydroelectric yet. It's barely on the verge of being able to run the hydroelectric on Lake Mead and Lake Powell. That's how bad the drought is right now. barely enough water. In fact, anytime they could be running out of electricity. So we hope we get rain. We hope we get some snow and some good runoff and get these reservoirs filled up a little bit to get us through the summer. And hopefully they will.
We have had some good rain, but not much.
Yeah.
Hey, Dreas, long time no see.
I know. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, Dreas, welcome.
We're getting a little bit of echo on your end.
I gotta mute the YouTube. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I don't think to do that. I'm pretty dumb half the time. I got her muted. There won't be no more feedback. I apologize for that.
Nah, that's cool.
How y'all been?
Yeah. Getting by.
Yeah, I hear you, man. My old lady's probably gonna kill me if she finds me out here on the freaking internet talking to people at 1 a.m. But yeah, I gotta say, hey, you know, it's been a while.
I mean, tell her we're not chicks.
Yeah.
She
sausage
she
fest.
really
We're
gives a
fucking,
shit.
we're guys with huge sacks. So I mean, you know, it's fucking sausage fest up in here. At least tell her that.
Well, sausage gravy biscuit farms. You're kind of cute, bro. I mean, she might see that.
Yeah, okay. All right. Whatever, you know,
She feels threatened.
I try not to judge. I'm just saying.
Oh crap! How y'all been, man? How's everything going over there?
Can't bitch? Really?
Yeah,
Can't
that's
bitch?
good.
Yeah, I could bitch, but no one listens.
That's my story. I could
That's par
bitch
for
all
the
day.
course.
Nobody hear a word. I just built a concrete wall past couple days, well, week. I don't ever want to do that again.
Where, around your house? Was it around
That's
your
a lot
house?
of work, brother.
Well, I
That's
had
a
to
lot
build a
of
little
work.
structure or something. It was just concrete block. It wasn't anything big. But it was, man, fuck that. I'm not that guy. I don't ever want to do that again. It turned out pretty good. It's just fucking. I'd rather just pour some concrete or get some stone and stack it. But man, that concrete block shit, you got to know what you're doing. You really do. I got a lot of respect for that.
When I was let me see. When I was a wee little lad starting my first year in school, I worked as a mason's helper. Oh my God, I have never been more buff in my life after a summer. I mean, paid great, but dude, you work from fucking 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. hauling block.
Yeah, that's long hours, man. That's
Oh,
how it is. That's how it goes. I feel like it's slave labor. I
it's
think
it's a
modern
young man's
slave
job.
labor. They rebranded it or something.
Okay, it is slave labor, but I did it. So that means that anybody else could do it.
Well, you were younger. How old were you? 20?
Probably, yeah. Probably
How
20,
was that? 30,
25
40
years
years
old.
ago?
That was back in the other, let's see, Max
1970s?
Waters was a youngster back in early 1800s.
Really?
Yeah, the pharaohs. There's my nieces and nephews continue to remind me that dinosaurs walked the earth when I was a youngster.
There's people that think the dinosaurs are around pretty recent. There's some scientists that found some. God, I can't remember the name of that protein. It's blowing my mind, but it was a pliable kind of a protein in a dinosaur fragment, and she was like, "Look, this thing is not that old. We could still move it around and shit." And it
Dude,
was like
they're
a
finding-
Well, that
Tyrannosaurus
sounds like
Rex and shit.
those Scientologists You know, L. Ron
No,
Hubbard
I mean, no,
followers
it
that
was a
think
real
the Earth is only
scientist. They just found it in the ground. Apparently, it wasn't that old. Like I think people are lying to us. I don't know, but I mean, nobody was there. You weren't there. I wasn't there. Nobody knows. Who knows how recent that was? And they got those footprints out in Texas, and I can look that up. But there's a place in Texas. Fella's got private property, and he offers tours. But there's human footprints right next to, in the same sandstone impression as actual dinosaurs.
I seen those. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, you know? It's like, is
There's
somebody
YouTube.
lying to us?
YouTube stuff about that. Well,
Fuck,
here's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
There's a lot of new shit out there. You're absolutely right. And now that you and me have access to the internet, we get to see all of that.
Right.
Not just, we're no longer filtered by what TV wanted to show us or what teachers wanted to teach us in school or what textbooks wanted to tell us. We're no longer that all that filtering is no longer applicable. You know what I'm saying? So now we get all of the we get all the raw information rushed straight to the fucking synapses of your head.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'll tell
you
you
get
what,
to make sense of all of it.
the more
Immediately. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the more I learn, the less I know. I'm losing
Dude,
my
exactly.
comprehension in the world.
Exactly.
I used to have it all
the more
figured
I
out. once
know I
upon a
don't
time.
know. Yep.
I don't
I
know
agree
shit
with you
anymore. I just
100%.
don't know nothing.
Mr. Bat Wayne, greetings citizen or greetings non-citizen. Greetings superhero, I think is the right thing.
I don't know.
Dude, you're right though.
I'm
right.
deleting. I've been deleting all my social medias, man. I had a run in with a streamer. That dude was a little fucking off the wall, man. But I don't know. I haven't been on the internet much lately.
Yeah, we all need a break from now and then.
Yep.
I know, and it's healthy. All I've been doing is working, just working and working around the house and the homestead. We got a little homestead, me and my old lady. We're trying to build it up, make it self-sufficient. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but we're getting there. And we got neighbors that are pretty good. Oh man, I got the best neighbors. I swear, man. If anyone ever wants a place to go, man, this is the neighborhood to go. They're good people, man, and they'll come by and say hi to you, and they'll bring you peppers and tomatoes and stuff.
Where's our cool neighbors at? Where are they at?
Oh, I'm actually pretty much right on the West Virginia Kentucky border, right over by Huntington, West Virginia.
I know it. Yep. Know it well.
Man, there's so many good people here, man. I can't even believe it. I feel like God sent me here. And it's like, I used to think I wanted to go to the Ozarks, and that's fine. I like the Ozarks, but this just seemed to work out better for me.
Kentucky, Huntington, that's right across the river from Ohio, the southern tip of Ohio. There's good people down there.
Yeah, I'm a little ways south of that. Man, there's just so many good people, man. It's just I'm not used to it. Where I'm from Maryland, and plenty of good people there, but there's just so many people. So when you do the math and you average the good people versus the bad people, that we're very outnumbered. And all my cousins and aunts and uncles and grand aunts and grand uncles and whatever from generations ago have left that region for generations, and it's because they're good people and they wanted to get the fuck away. And it's like, I get it, but it's just
left Maryland.
I know.
Just moved out of Maryland.
Well, you weren't really in Maryland. You were in Southern Maryland below DC. That wasn't really Maryland. That was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to use the N word.
All right. I'll give you that. You're right.
It's south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Well, that particular area, it's isolated by the Potomac River and the Chesapeake Bay. And either you're from there, which is rare that you're from there. There's only a few people.
You're an outlier.
But most of the people come there for work in DC. That's what it is.
Yep.
But they're not from there. There's no community. There's no vibe, and everybody's trying to kill each other. And
You're
man,
right.
I'll tell you what, that Branch Avenue, Route 5 running through Waldorf, I'm telling man, it is the Wild West, man. I've
Dude,
seen
I drove
gang
it for
fights.
10
I have
years.
literally
Yeah.
personally witnessed gang fights on that road where people in
I left
motorcycle
there
gangs are
because I
shooting
was
at each-
either going to be in jail for murder or be dead. One of the two.
That's exactly it. It's like, do you fight and protect your home or do you leave? You know, it's
I'm
like
out.
it's that bad. That's the
I
truth.
left. You know my story. I'm not
I
gonna.
know. You did good. You're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. You're smarter than
I'm
me.
trying. I'm like you. I'm trying. That's all I can do.
Honestly, I couldn't have left if I had a lot of people die recently, past 4 or 5 years in my family that were significant to me that I was looking out for. And it's just like I don't need to be here no more. I don't. This is the first time in my life I don't need to be here. I hated that place, man. Every day I hated it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't always hate it. There's good places there.
There
I mean,
are.
you got some good parks
There
and
are. And there's
stuff.
good people there. Exactly.
There are good
And there's
people
good
there,
food there.
but when you do the math between the good people and the bad people, it's just that there's so many people. I guess
Well,
it's like
dude,
New
the
York.
Washington D.C. keeps creeping out. Is what happens.
Man,
And
I
it's
can't
like
go
New
into that
York and
city no more, man. After
Yeah, I can't do
Obama
it
went
either.
in there, it turned into some kind of communist crazy shit. They changed all the lanes and
It's
made
a
it where the
jobs
bicycle goes
program
down there. It's
now.
camera on every corner.
Yep.
Man, I don't ever want to go in Washington, D.C. again in my life. And I grew up going to D.C. and I used to work there for about 15, 20 years.
I'm
I don't
saying,
ever
dude, worked there for 12 years.
I don't
12
ever want to
fucking
go there
years.
again a day in my life, man. That place makes
Yep.
me very uncomfortable.
We done. I get
Something
you. I
changed. I
understand
don't
it
know
completely.
what. I think the communists took over the fucking planet. I don't even know what to do.
You're right. When Obama pulled into town, the whole DC metro area turned into one big jobs program for the
It
NAACP.
got real weird. Everything got fucking crazy weird. It was
It
already
did.
bad, but at least it was manageable, you know?
So it was time for me to leave. I saw it. I couldn't though because, dude, I was married to that whole defense industrial complex. I was cleared. I couldn't do remote work. I couldn't do anything. I had to, I was shuttling into Meade and into the White House and into DHS downtown on the Green Line.
Have you
Fuck
been
that
have you been in
metro.
the White
Oh
House?
my God. I have. Yes,
Have you been in the White House?
I did. Yeah. I actually
No
worked there
shit.
for
What were you
about a
doing in
year.
there?
I was doing communications, pure and simple, cleared
I mean,
communications.
that's pretty cool, man. What were you? I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't have. I mean, I apologize for.
No,
I
it's
know
all
it's
good.
probably
It's all
personal,
good.
but
It's all good. I was working for Booz Allen at the time, and I had a Buckshot Yankee clearance, and they needed a voice over IP guy. So
oh,
I went
okay.
down there. I went down there for about 6 months and worked on their shit. I shuttled down there every day, just like clockwork. That was my place to go. That was my assigned duty, so to
But you've
speak.
actually been in the White House working, though.
Yeah, in
I've
one of the
never been
lower
in there.
levels. In the lower level shit. I mean, it's way. I know I'm nobody. Trust me. But yeah, I worked a couple months up in there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been all around it, like right there, like throw a rock at it, like look out the window and see it. I've never been in it,
You don't.
but
It's no big thing. It
I
ain't.
did security systems, burglar alarm stuff.
Yep.
But I
I
mean,
do IT security.
high level shit, man. I got security clearances through the fucking nose, man. Like,
Yes, you do. If you worked
no,
in
I
any
do, I
even
do. It's
even
harder,
even
and he
spitting
even told me
distance,
it's easier to be a cop than it is to do what you do. And I'm
yep.
like, okay, but man, I just don't ever want to go in there no more ever again. I don't ever want to look at it.
That's
I
why
did.
I gave up the
I drove
clearance.
through there before I left when I came out here to move. I drove through
Yeah.
it, and I said goodbye. Like, I don't ever want to come here again in my life. I don't want to cross those Appalachian Mountains again.
You did the right thing. And you're in the right place. You're in absolutely the right place.
And I'll tell
That's
you, man, there's
beautiful.
good people around here. They've
God's
been real
country.
welcoming and stuff, and they've been real kind. There's good, decent people, and I was really
Yeah.
surprised at that. And there are a lot of them. They're really intelligent. Like, I'm really like, what the fuck? I can have conversations with these people. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what. I
they're
thought
really
everybody
not.
would be tripping over their own dicks and shit when I got here, and they're not.
No. They got this thing down. You just need to listen to them, talk to them. WSO, WH White House Security Office. Is that what you're talking about?
Signals office.
Signals Office. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was a very low echelon of the Signals Office. Yes.
Gotcha.
Very
They
low.
all, I mean, I've mostly my knowledge of that kind of stuff comes from reading Tom Clancy over the years. I know they have a White House Communications Agency. You know, I don't know if that's the deal.
Yeah,
with
but that's all the
military
high
stuff.
level. You know,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that's the people that get on the news and shit. I was the guy working. They had a Cisco call manager in level 4. It was a cleared call manager, so they had to have somebody that was cleared to get on it.
Yeah.
So you needed cleared and you needed VoIP. Just so happens I have both. So yeah, I was actually certified in the Cisco solution, the call manager
Nice.
solution. So
Yeah,
I mean,
how did
it's
you get
just
certified in that? Did you go to school, or did you just do it on a job, or?
I was in the Navy.
actually it was on a job. I used to work for Cisco. There was a company that I worked for that was bought by Cisco.
Oh, you
Company was
directly
called.
work for Cisco?
I actually was a Cisco employee. Yes.
No shit.
So yeah, I got on one of the Cisco call manager, and that's what got me in the White House.
Right. Yeah, man. That's good. That's
I'm just the right guy in the right place.
that's a
That's all it
lucky
was.
shot, I guess. I mean, I
It's
wouldn't call
exactly
it lucky,
what it
but
is.
fate, whatever. I don't know. That's cool. They ain't easy, you know. You got to be that guy, you know.
You got to be that guy, and with that skill in the right place, in that place,
Right,
and
right.
you know, all three of those things come together, and next thing you know, you're taking the green line downtown to the fucking. I used to get what is the stop there right under the Veterans. The Veterans Administration is just across the street, literally from the White House. And I would
It's
come
a
into the
homeless
Veterans.
camp now. I drove through
Yeah.
there. It was nothing but tents.
Oh,
It was so sad. I couldn't believe it. I've only been here a year. I mean, and it's just a year ago I drove through there. It's just tents for
oh,
like a
man.
mile or two right around there. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I couldn't believe it. It was just,
That could be why they
this
put
world
that
got
fence
real
up,
weird, man.
dude. They put that fence back up.
I don't know. I don't ever
Oh,
want to go there
man.
again in my life.
Nah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't ever want to see it again in my life. It's rear view, and I'm happy with that.
You know, I only have one experience. I've only been to DC once, and I was still a kid. I was like probably 10, 11 years old. And, you know, I knew what it was all about. I understood what DC was. But, you know, as a kid, I enjoyed, you know, like some of the architecture and the history about the whole city and everything. It was a fun vacation.
There are
Yeah.
wonderful.
But yeah, I know what
Lots
it's
of
all about.
wonderful
I wouldn't want to
things.
live in.
Yeah. DC's a great place, and you should do that. Everybody should go to the Smithsonian. You should take a tour of Congress.
I've been in
You should-
every museum. They're free.
Yep,
They're right on
they're
that.
free.
What's that? Constitution? I can't remember the east-west one.
Constitution Avenue. Exactly.
Yeah,
And there's a free
They're
bus
all
ride.
there.
that
They're all
runs
free,
the whole
and
thing. Exactly.
you just got to get a parking spot, and you're fine. But I used to go to all them museums regularly, man. I loved them.
Yep. I've done them all myself. And you should. Everybody should.
Yeah.
But once you've done that, it's time to get the fuck out of there because
But
the tourist part.
apparently it's not like that anymore. You can't just park on a damn road anymore. You got to get bussed in or cabbed in, park in a garage like downtown city, like New York or something.
No.
I haven't run into that. But that's what I hear. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe you can still do it. I don't know. But
listen, I grew up in Virginia, and so I had the
what part? North or south, east or west?
south, actually, Radford, Virginia. If you've ever
I don't
heard
know. Is that near the ocean or
nope, other side? Over
near the
south of-
mountains?
Yep,
Roanoke.
south of Roanoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
On 81.
Okay. That's actually
40 miles south
I'm
of
probably
Roanoke.
2 hours from there.
You are. You're very close.
Yeah, I'm not far. I'm in eastern Kentucky. I ain't far from that at all.
Bluefield between you and me.
Yep, Bluefield is about an hour and a half from me.
So anyway,
one of my best friends came from Bluefield. He was a crane mechanic.
I took those field trips as a school kid. I took those field trips up to Washington, D.C. and saw all of those Smithsonian things in the school bus. And they were wonderful experiences. And of course, my dad did the same thing. He took me up there, gave me all of that rich. You should walk the mall. You should understand how it's laid out. I mean, there's a lot of story there. Even if you just spend a day or 2 days there, there's just a lot of story that you should know as a citizen. I'm just, my opinion. That's all.
I don't know what story to believe. I've heard so many stories, especially the modern day conspiracy stories. I don't even know what.
Yeah, I believe the story that's engraved in the granite in front of me, so I can read the shit.
That monument's made from marble. That came from Cockeysville, Maryland, in a quarry north of Baltimore. All of it came from there.
Yep.
I know the quarry. I mean, I know people that work there and stuff, and I know the stories in the back end, but they're saying that I'm hearing stories like it's like many more levels down, and it's a big pecker and all this stuff, and they worship dicks and shit. I don't know what the fuck all that's about.
Who? What are you listening to the gay pride parade now?
No, it is. I don't know, conspiracy theorists on the internet. I don't know what the fuck I'm listening to, but it's just that's what people are saying, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't know.
You got to stop listening to the idiots.
I heard a really interesting conspiracy theory type story about DC once. It was from a veteran who he was in the Army, and then he transferred to the Corps of Engineers. He told me that there is an underground highway that runs from the White House complex all the way to fucking Camp David.
Oh yeah, they got those tunnels. I mean, that's public. They got that green something in West Virginia.
Well, the Greenbrier.
Yeah, Greenbrier. I mean, that's a known thing. They got an underground train to that. I can't imagine they wouldn't have one to Camp David. Who knows what's underground,
I mean, that's a pretty significant distance, though. I don't know if that would be feasible.
Well, Camp David's not further than Greenbrier. Greenbrier is further out, and Camp David's real close. It's just right there. It's just Frederick County right there, man. I used to go hiking around Camp David, man. Fucking till rattlesnakes run me off. I think they put them out there on purpose.
I've been through that part of Maryland. That's a pretty part of the country out there.
It's real nice. It's real nice. I like it there. I did. I used to want to move there, Thurmont and stuff. Me and my ex-wife, we were talking about getting a place out there, and we never did. But I'm telling you, I did a lot of hiking around there. It's filled with rattlesnakes. But the whole Appalachian Mountains are, it's the mountains. I mean, it's a skinny part of the mountains in that part of Maryland, but it continues up into New York, all the way up to New York State.
Oh, it follows the Appalachian Trail, runs all the way through all that, and
Yeah, man.
Through New York and up into New England, and
Maine
the
to
trail
Alabama.
itself.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to oh God,
Mount
Kidderma
Katahdin in
something.
Maine.
Kidderma something.
Maine.
Mount Kidderma something, Maine. I can't remember what it's called.
Mount Katahdin.
Yeah, Mount Katahdin. That's the one. Yep, that's the end of the Appalachian Trail. Yes, sir. You got it. Hey, you're a smart guy.
The actual mountain range continues up into Canada, and there's
Yeah.
a separate trail that you can follow all the way up into there, and it follows going south. It goes all the way down to Georgia. The southern terminus is I think it's called Mount Springer, Georgia.
Okay. Well, I'll tell
That was
you
one
what.
of my
Around
bucket
that
list
Camp
thing that
David, if you
I've
go
wanted to
hiking,
do
there
that
are
trail for
rattlesnakes
years.
every fucking where. I think they put them there. I ain't never seen rattlesnake. I've been all up and down those mountains from Pennsylvania down into North Carolina, but I ain't really gone beyond that. But I've seen them, and I'm telling you that area right around there, Thurmont, Maryland, around Camp David, there's so many damn rattlesnakes. I mean, you'll just trip over them. I think they were putting them
probably
in there.
introduced them for security reasons.
Yeah, I think they introduced a few extra in that particular area is what I'm kind of hinting at, like to keep people away from it. Like that's my suspicion. I don't ever want to go walking around there ever again. I mean, I do, but I don't know. I got to get some special pants or something.
I'd recommend snake boots.
I recommend a 12-gauge shotgun, but you're not allowed to carry it. Man, that's some scary shit, man. You walking along and it's right there. You don't see it, and you're just right there. You look down.
Where I worked at in Canada was all fucking rattlesnakes everywhere. I dealt with them too.
Just winking at you, saying, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up?" And
rattlesnakes and scorpions. That's what we got here is rattlesnakes and scorpions, and that's kind of why I moved here, because at least they'll let me carry a gun to shoot them.
Right,
in Maryland, they won't
You're not allowed to carry a gun up there. Is what I'm saying. You can't. It's like illegal to fucking walk around with it. So you can't defend your stuff. You better get yourself a good stick. That's all you got. It's the only hope you have. I don't know, but there's a lot of them, man. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's a lot. I would not recommend going for a nature hike up there at all. Just my 2 cents. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, it's nice up there, but I ain't never seen so many damn snakes. I mean, I've seen snakes. Like, sometimes you got like a bunch of black snakes or garter snakes or whatever, just so happen to live there. Wherever you're at. I'm talking rattlesnakes, man. I'm talking things that will fuck you up and kill you. I'm not saying dozens. I'm saying hundreds, if not thousands. Like every hour as you walk, you will encounter that many. It's a lot. There's one after the other. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, we got here in Ohio, there's a small chain of islands that are in Lake Erie that cross from the Ohio side heading towards the Canadian side. And there's a little island out there. It's only a couple square miles big, and it's completely, blocked off. You can't visit it. It's run by the National Wildlife Service.
Why can't you go on there?
Because it's the island is basically covered in rattlesnakes.
No shit.
Yep. They send a biology team there once or twice.
There must be something there. I'm really coming to the theory that where these snakes are, there's something there they don't want people fucking with. Maybe there's like a relic or some kind of some kind of historical thing that's there that maybe something buried or an old monument or something, some ruins or something.
Could be. Yeah, but this
I'm really leaning towards that because I've watched it change. No, I used to go up to that Thurmont around Camp David. It never used to be like that years ago. It was fine. You could go over there and just pitch a tent and have a good old time. you know, and it was all good in the hood. I mean, it wasn't no big deal. I'm telling you now, it's not like that. I think they just keep like flying helicopters over and dropping snakes out the window or something.
Fire in the bowl.
Share it, dude.
Fire in the bowl.
I'll tell you what, I got some seeds. I'll tell you what. I'm not really sure how to grow them, but I got them. It took me about 2 years to get them, but I got them. Nobody wanted to send me seeds. I tried to go down to Waldorf one time, and you know, I got stood up.
Dude, I got seeds for you.
I'm just joking with you, brother. I'm just messing with you.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
The hookup.
Oh, man.
I got you. You need seeds. You just let a brother know. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
And you're in the right place to learn to grow them. If you really want to know how to grow them, there's a bunch of motherfuckers in here that know how to grow them, know a little bit about growing weed. Not that I ain't saying anything about, you know.
I got about 20. Neighbor come by, gave us a bag, little bag, but it had seeds in them and stuff. And it was old stuff. You could tell it's like, huh?
That's a good neighbor.
Oh man, I got the best neighbors I've ever had in my life. I don't ever want to leave here. I'm sure some tragedy is gonna fucking happen.
That was a Kentucky slant West Virginia neighbor, not a Maryland neighbor, right?
Yeah. I used to have good neighbors back in Maryland, but they all died or moved. It's just, I mean, I grew up with a lot of good people, man. I grew up out in the county, way out in the country, kind of, you know, right in between Baltimore and Philadelphia, kind of right in the middle. Good people, man, but they're all gone. I mean, there's still a few remnants, but
what is the place up there? Somebody told me. Dundalk?
Yeah, Dundalk. Yep.
Dundalk Terminal.
Yep.
In Baltimore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not a good
Baltimore.
place. Yeah, Dundalk's not a good place, man. That's a
trailer park. Redneck. Not the best place you need to be.
It's pretty rough there, man. Oh shit! You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I had a couple of neighbors that were from Dundalk, and they were everything.
While you were down in Southern Maryland, you had neighbors from Dundalk?
Yes.
How did they get there?
Married into some land down there.
Oh, okay.
One of them, the Dundalk guy, married into some property down there.
That's something I can understand, but Dundalk people don't move down there. It doesn't
happen. And they don't let Dundalk people move down there very often either.
Well, they can't afford it. That's pretty much the big step right there.
That was a unique experience. That person.
Oh yeah, they're fucking awful, man. They're fucking demons, man. That's the best way I could put it. They're all on drugs and fucking, I don't even know what. I just call them demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father worked in Dundalk. Well, not Dundalk, Sparrows Point, just below Dundalk. He worked at the steel mill when it was still there. They tore it down.
Until I moved up there, I had no idea how many cars come in that terminal.
Man, it is so busy. It is the busiest place you could probably ever go. I mean, there's more busy places, but you get in New York and Jersey and stuff, but it's pretty fucking busy there.
I'll be back in a minute,
busy.
Guys.
Okay. It's real busy. And you're right. Only something like Long Beach or Jersey would compare. Because they move a lot of shit up into the Baltimore Harbor. I just never knew. I had heard about it or read about it and never thought, well, that's a lot. And then I went up there and actually saw it, how many cars and containers and ships would move in and out of there. And I have some history in shipping. So anyway, I thought it was very interesting.
No, it's a busy port, man. It truly is.
As much as I wouldn't give Baltimore the sweat from one nut, I really wouldn't.
if you're a good looking 20-something-year-old female, I think you can do well there.
You could do well there, yes. Of course, if you're a good looking,
That's
20-something
Dundalking.
female,
That's pretty
you
much
can do
Dundalking in a
you can do
nutshell.
well anywhere. You can do well anywhere if you're that, But hey,
Oh man. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that spot. No, don't.
well, it's the beauty part is that you get to go to better places. In other words, it doesn't have to be that way the rest of your life. You've learned. You were like, okay, well, I've had enough of that. Let me just move over to the West Virginia, Kentucky area. Huntington. Dude, I know exactly where you're
there's
at.
that.
I used to take ATV rides up the coal roads up there, up coal mine roads up there, up those hills and up them hollers.
Yeah, man.
That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I went to high school in Parkersburg.
No kidding.
No shit.
That's becoming an industry now. They're the local governments, West Virginia, Kentucky. They're pushing that ATV trail thing now.
It is. Yes, it is. And they're doing a good job of it. Because, white boys like me come from DC area, bring our ATVs down there and our wives down there and our trucks down there.
Well, it helps the economy.
$1,000 and exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Dude loved it. Absolutely loved it. Wife loved it. Had the best time. Nicest people in the world.
They really are. I'm really surprised. I mean, even I've tried fucking with some of these people, try to piss them off just to see what they would do. They're just smile.
Yeah, North Kakalaki got a bunch of rednecks. I'm talking to
They're
Chad
good
here.
people, man. They got good hearts. You can tell when somebody's got a good heart.
You can.
And,
Even if they're
and
not
it's
the
just
smartest.
I'm not used to that. I've been around people with good hearts in my life. Don't get me wrong, and I know what it is. But just to be around it so much, and it's just like, man, I don't even. Sometimes I go to sleep and I wake up and I'm like, am I still alive? Is that a dream? Did that really happen? I just don't even know what.
So what took you to
Well, I've always
Virginia?
I honestly wanted to go to Tennessee, but I've been working on that for years and years and years. Well, Northeast Tennessee, and I wasn't against Kentucky. I don't want nothing to do with West Virginia. It's just a personal issue.
Okay.
But I met a woman, and she was from Ohio.
There you go.
And we're kind of in the middle, and it kind of worked out. We got a place together here, and I'm just, all this COVID stuff, and it's just, I just want to get the fuck away from everything at this point, and
dude, you're like everybody else. You're trying to escape the population densities. I won't say the big city. You're just trying to get away from the density, the population density.
I don't think I'm designed for it. I mean, I can handle myself.
Oh, I know I'm not.
But I'm not comfortable.
I'm not cut out for that. No, sir. I'm a barefoot in the dirt kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm
60 years old, and I'm still a barefoot in the dirt kind of guy.
Right. I hear it. I don't know. I mean, it's a good place, man. I'm really surprised. That's the thing. I mean, I did a lot of research, and I visited and talked to people, and I knew some people. And it just worked out. Those come here, and it's just, man, it's so much different than I ever thought it would be. I have not met a single human being the entire time I've been here, and it's been damn near a year I've been here. And I've met a lot of people, man, and they come up and introduce themselves. They do. They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I met pretty much every one of my neighbors. I got probably, I don't know, 50, 60 neighbors. And it's only a few roads here. It's kind of isolated. That's the best way.
And you ain't met none of them?
Huh?
And you haven't met none of them? Is that what you're telling me?
No, what's saying is I met pretty much all of them. And they've all really, really good people. Either I see them driving down the road, and
yeah.
brother down and we talk, or they come over and talk, or I just see them somewhere and we have conversations. Man, they're good people. It's like, fuck, where have I been my whole life? Did I die and go somewhere? I don't know what this is. I just feel like I'm in a movie or something, you know, like where you die and you go to some strange place and everybody's cool. I don't know.
So we need to convince Canoes of your experience, because he's
There's
afraid
good
of moving
people
away
out
from
there,
you.
man. They're really Canoes, man. There's good people out there, just like you, just like that guy.
That guy, exactly, just like Don,
There's good
just like
people.
that guy, just that
Sometimes
sausage guy. Yeah, that one.
Oh, believe me, once I'm clear of all my personal issues here holding me here in Ohio, I'm gone.
Man, I'll tell you what, we got a bunch of animals here that I've never seen before. It's kind of I've been looking up into the geological system of everything. And this is kind of a region where some things live that don't live anywhere else. And I'm seeing all sorts of things. I got a whole list, man, especially since this spring happened, man. I got fucking 15 fucking birds I've fucking listed that are I got that have come back since the spring happened, the past month or two. And I've got lizards. I mean, it's just cool, man. It just really is. These little lizards, they're real cool, man. They just hang out and they just look at you, go, "What's up? Hey, what's up?" You know, yeah, it's really cool, man. It really is. But I'm up on a hill. I'm on a ridge. We got a good little place. It's up on a mountain ridge. But that ridge, it goes like a half mile long. I mean, and there's parallel ridges to it. And there's a big old lake right next to it. You can go fishing and stuff on. I can't complain. I'm not saying I'm in heaven, but I'll tell you what. If somebody took me to court, I'd tell you I was. That's all I can say. I'm pretty happy.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, a lot of retired people around here. Most of them were coal miners, or they worked in not necessarily coal miners, but they worked in a coal mine. They might have had an associated job like a driver, an electrician, or something like that. That's the majority of the people I've met. You know, the old timer folks that have been here a while, you know. And they got the most land because they bought it years ago, you know. They might have 4, 5, 10, 12 acres, depends, you know. I mean, there's probably around this area by the lake. I mean, I guess probably a couple thousand acres, you know, but people own it. Then the rest of it's national forest, you know.
I do. A lot of people's lands are butt up against the national forest, so they can't, and they like it because that means that nobody will ever develop that national forest land.
Right.
How's it
Wayne.
going, Don? Canoe? Good to see you guys. You
Always
see
a
a
pleasure,
small likeness of my facial features. I try to keep it low.
You're a dark one. You're always a dark one, but that's okay.
And I have my clothes on. Dude, do you
That's
remember that time somebody, I think it was back in Sick Pat, God rest Ryan, friend of mine and yours, he said somebody logged in with my name, and as soon as you guys turned on the webcam, he was standing there naked, showing his fucking junk.
Yep.
Did you ever?
Yep. I was there that
fuck,
night.
who the fuck was that, dude?
It was a troll. We never figure out his exact
said,
identity.
Let it go, just like
He did it for a couple of days with a bunch of other people's accounts and shit. Yeah, you weren't the only one that got.
You just let him go.
Spammed
I
on.
try to find out. I'd be like, damn it, there could be kids watching. That's not cool. I would never do no shit like that.
He wasn't showing off anything spectacular.
All right. So you just let it go. But think of my point of view. When I came in the room and heard about it, I was like, what the fuck? And somebody was like, was that you, dude? I'm like, no. Oh, man. What the fuck? The internet's going to get crazier. Now we've got the Ministry of Truth.
Man, man, you talk about something. The fucking internet is about to go clean off the rails. You know why? The Supreme Court is about to fucking outlaw abortion.
I saw that.
Well, they're about to walk back Roe v. Wade. Let's rephrase that.
They're going to
And
turn it
the
over to
fucking-
the states. Right. Should be
exactly
states.
where it should be. Exactly where it should be. They're going to do the right thing. Finally. But
Because I
that
think it's
doesn't
because they
matter.
can see Trump's coming. Mr. Donald Trump.
Well,
Nice to talk to you
I
again,
think
sir.
it's because we finally have a decisive majority up in that bitch.
Some people actually
We,
woke up.
you and me,
Finally.
and Canoes and Dress, and we
It's the silent
finally
majority.
have a fucking a majority up in that bitch,
Can we dare
and
say
they're
silent
going
majority?
to do the right
Yeah.
thing.
When they
At least
start
we're
fucking with
hoping.
people's
Anyway.
kids, man, in school,
I know.
teaching them that you were born with the
60
wrong plumbing.
million abortions.
Listen,
Listen, I'm not a fucking hardcore pro-lifer, but abortion is wrong. It just
supposedly
is.
right now they're rioting in front of the Supreme Court in D.C.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
A
Yes, they
couple
are.
hours ago.
Yes, they are, and I couldn't be happier.
they're
Couldn't be happier.
losing it. They've lost their shit. They're like, oh no.
Oh, you ought to flip over to
Looking at the
MSNBC and
sky.
CNN right now.
I don't even.
Oh my God!
I'd rather talk to you guys. I
Yeah,
already know.
yeah.
Seen it before.
Fucking yeah.
Many times.
Those people are nuts. Are
Throwing
nuts.
Molotov cocktails, and flipping police cars. And,
You know it's coming.
yeah,
It's coming. There's going to be fucking blood in the streets.
yeah.
And I really
Absolutely.
want to.
This is a pause right now. It's the calm, man. They're just calming everything down right now. It's gonna be worse than it was before. I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah. It's the liberals are going to fucking go completely off the rails. You know who's going to have a good time with this? Ben Shapiro. That's
all
gonna be
the lawyers, man. It's time to drain the swamp. I really,
Man, I wanna
don't
see-
consider me like a fanatic follower, or cultist or anything, but Donald Trump did more for America than anybody since Reagan.
Oh, he did.
He could
He
still
did.
do it again.
Absolutely, he did.
I
And
have-
he will.
yeah.
He will.
Absolutely.
I have faith. I have faith to the point that I'm sending him a lot of money. All right, so we'll see.
Right on. Good for you, man.
We'll see. I'm
I
contributing.
bought one of his fleece vests. Cost me $65 plus shipping, almost $100. Still have it. It says Trump embroidered. He
I
wore
think
it.
I have one of just about
Yeah.
everything at this point in the program in the store. They have to make
Right.
new shit.
We
for
got
me
a
to-
big old Trump flag out front.
Dude, guess what I saw today? You ready for this? I saw the coolest fucking, the Gadsden yellow flag. Don't tread on me. It's got the snake.
Yep.
Hello, right?
Yes.
All right. So instead of "Don't tread on me," it looked just like the Gadsden flag, but it had Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, and it said, "Are you threatening me?" I lost my shit. I was like, "No."
That's pretty cool. Yes.
He was on an ATV with a 6-foot long fucking flagpole. The flag was bigger than a fucking ATV. I'm like, yes, that could only happen around here, man. I moved to fucking Trumpsville. You think Virginia's Trumpsville? Oh man, everybody here is like, fuck all this stupid shit. We're all together in this tiny little place that respects the Constitution and your neighbors and their amendments.
Hey, Pahrump, Nevada, checking in for Trump, baby.
There you go.
Man, I ain't never seen a more pro Trump joint than Pahrump, Nevada. Really. Fucking amazing.
I've driven by there. I don't think I actually made it you got to go like off the main.
Yeah,
drag.
it's one of those places that people drive through.
Right.
And
I
miss
remember I drove past White Sands and all that. I don't even think I knew about Area 51 at the time. It was back in the early, I don't know, 90s.
Yep, when it was nothing. There's there's really nothing there still, but there's the
And
spot is just a
Joshua-
little wider. How about that?
Remember Joshua Tree National Forest?
Yep.
I drove past all that shit.
I'm just up the road from Death Valley.
You're in Art Bell's old stomping grounds.
I am. That's where he was.
Do you remember? Did you listen to him? I remember when he took Too Many Volume live. I was listening live on the fucking air, and he was all depressed about losing his wife. No shit. And the fucking sheriffs came. You could hear him beating on the fucking door because he was broadcasting from his home studio. And they came and dragged him out and took him to the hospital. And we really thought he was trying to take his life live on the fucking air from Pahrump, Nevada. You remember that?
Sorry, I missed it. No, sir.
He's a late night show host that deals in.
Oh, I know exactly
paranormal.
who he is.
Yeah,
I know
some
exactly
people
who
say
he is.
he
I
was
just
an
wasn't.
asshole. I don't know. Maybe
I just
he
wasn't
was.
there for that experience.
Dude,
But I
wish
I
I
know
wasn't
exactly who he
there.
is.
And so many strange things has happened around. Man, I've seen some things around there. Lights in the sky at night. You know.
Canoes, if you want to go ahead and shut it down, then that's fine. You ain't gotta. I'm gonna get out of here also.
But I had to ask you, man. Do you ever see lights in the sky out there?
Fuck yeah. I mean, this is like lights in the sky
Unexplainable.
central.
Yeah.
Okay. They're expected here. I expect to see weird shit in the sky. So it's not a strangeness for me. Just my humble opinion, but what do I know?
That's pretty cool. I have too.
Yeah. Two
Yeah.
Russian patrol boats. Raptor class patrol boats. I thought that was just wonderful.
See, I kept an open mind for a long time. I try to think I'm a scientist at heart. You know, what can be proven, what can't be proven. It's fact, it's speculation. So, I've seen some things I know ain't from around here. Let's put it that way, right?
Canoes, I've been following my Ukrainian brothers, effectively for quite some time now. And I'm even assisting with some Ukrainian cyber operations,
Nice.
just voluntarily kind of thing. But it's very cool.
Dang, man. That is cool.
What was fucked up that Pelosi and her ilk showed up there the other day or yesterday yesterday.
Yeah.
That was some fucked up shit.
Damn it, Witch.
But hey, I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna shut up.
I think their days are numbered. Right now, they're digging their own fucking graves, dude. If you just look at what they're doing, the Democrats, they're so fucking desperate. They've gone berserk. They've totally lost
I
their
agree with
minds. You know,
They have lost
really
their
have.
mind.
Yeah.
You're right. Dreas, and I want to reach out to Dreas also. Thanks for coming up, dude. Really enjoyed our talk, by the way. Come back and see us, please.
Everything
But
they're
anyway.
doing is diametrically opposed to what America stands for. It's just like the last dying gasp of a communist. Like, let me be a commie, please. Help.
I'm sure Don's heard it. You hear that Putin is passing over complete power temporarily to a guy from the FSB because Putin has to go in for cancer surgery and he's going to be unconscious for a while and unavailable for a few days.
Thyroid.
Yep. He's going to be under the knife for his treatment, and he's passing command executive authority over to some old-fashioned Soviet hardliner from, ex-KGB type.
So is he pro or more lenient?
Oh, he's completely
he's
in step with Putin.
up his ass.
Yeah.
So
kind of
he's
thing.
just as likely to nuke Britain like they threatened to do tonight. I don't know if you saw the
No,
news.
he's total hardline, non-reform commie.
Yep.
So he's just as likely to
He's
nuke
just
London.
like Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
Putin.
Crazy ass. Yeah, I did my part. I kept
So,
him at bay.
The
for a few
question
years.
then becomes, the question analysts are asking now is, what's he going to do? What's he going to do about the May Day parade?
Yeah.
What the
Don't they
message
run
is going
around
to be?
half naked in circles and tie each other up with ribbons?
No. The commies have. That's when
I
they have their
know,
big
I know.
weapons parade. You've seen that.
Red Square, the whole 9 yards,
So what's
tanks,
the
missiles.
message? Everybody thinks that they want to, and they probably do. They want to espouse a victory during their May Day parade over Ukraine, but they're not going to be able to do that. So the question then becomes, what are they? What is the message going to be? Nobody seems to know. I'm sure.
They'd be fucking idiots. It'd be suicidal to launch on any major NATO country. But I think that's what they're doing. Is like
He wants.
Step
Did
Daddy
you
said.
hear him? Did you hear him insinuate that he would do that? He did. He said, "Any of you motherfuckers get in our way, our fury will be fast and furious." Okay, whoop-de-fuck. But he's not stupid enough to fire on anything NATO, or stupid enough to intrude on any NATO airspace. He will, on the other hand, intrude on Sweden's airspace. He'll intrude on fucking Finland's airspace and everybody else's airspace that's not NATO. But he won't intrude on NATO's airspace. He does not want the NATO fight. He knows he will lose that.
Hey, let me ask you a
Horribly.
question. Thank you, man. You know
I'm
what's
sorry.
really trippy? Hey, remember, I'm your brother, man. United States Navy. Finland and
Sweden.
All right. Yeah. What do you think? They're applying for NATO.
They're coming.
And Russia's like, we're
Coming to
not
NATO.
going to have that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
We're going to set up nukes on the fucking border. You're threatening us. And they're like saying, no, you're
you.
the bulldog in the fucking yard.
Russia, do whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you think you know what is good for you, you go ahead and do, because they're going to NATO.
So you think it's,
and the reason is,
that's what I was
Russia-
thinking too, man.
Yep.
I'm like, go ahead,
Russia
join NATO
has driven
tomorrow.
them straight into the arms of
Right,
NATO.
they should be in NATO like yesterday, in my opinion.
And they probably will be shortly. Yes,
All right, cool.
they're
Thank you,
coming.
man. It's good talking to you. You know what the hell's going on. At least I know enough to ask honest questions. Right?
No, I mean it's an interesting situation over there. The Germans have been too dependent on that Russian oil or Russian hydrocarbons for too many years.
Hey, Don, can I ask you another question, man?
Go ahead.
They really pay people in these places called think tanks in D.C., right? Like thousands of dollars a year just to sit around and talk about, like, if Russia does this, then we'll do that, and then they'll do this, and China will do that, and then, right? They come up with all these scenarios, right?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars per year.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, right.
Yes, they do.
They really exist. Yeah. So,
Those are
like,
called-
who are we? We could talk about this shit, like, armchair quarterbacks, right? It's for the fun of it.
Well-
Who the fuck knows what's going on?
That's the thing. You got to be an armchair quarterback before you can be a professional, right?
And then there's the spiritual side of it. I think there's like more wars. Do you know that 5 planets just went in a straight line last week? Venus, Mars, and Venus and Jupiter are within 1/2 of a degree in the sky. They appeared like a double star to most people. No, those aren't stars, they're planets. I wish I had a telescope. I used to have one. Little,
I'm gonna
not
get
a
a couple.
conjunction, not in a straight line from us, but straight line like left to right in the sky. Follow me? Making a
I do.
line, you can see every planet separated by pretty much the same distance. That's why people been acting so crazy, dude. This fucking magnetic shit. Don't think I'm off the left end, all right? You know, but there is something to what's going on spiritually,
What?
planetarily,
Spiritually?
universally. Yes, yes.
Well,
There's a
I
battle
actually
going on
think
for
there
our
is
souls,
some kind of spiritualness. I just don't know what it is.
right?
There
But
is something
you
else.
think about it, right? Yeah.
There's some shit out there that we don't get. There's some layers and some levels that we don't understand. I mean, think about it. And I don't want you to just think about these numbers right here. So supposedly, the universe has been around for roughly 13 billion years. 13 and some change billion years. 8.
Correct.
13.8. And of that, supposedly Earth has been around 4.3 billion years. And of that, man has supposedly been around 250,000 years. Now, various and sundry derivatives of man have been around for millions of years. Homo sapien, Neanderthals, they're still picking bones out of Africa. But man, you know, the modern guy that you and I are, we've been around about 250,000 years.
You
And
think
of
so?
that, well, yeah, I'm just running numbers that have already been given to me. Okay. I'm not making any of this shit up. I'm just talking
No,
somebody
go
else's
ahead.
game.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But of that, we've only been actually civilized for about 10,000 years.
Who
And
said
of
we were
that 10
civilized?
well,
I'm sorry.
maybe we're not. Okay. But you're right. That's a very subjective whatever. My
Go ahead.
point is really, really simple here. We've only been looking at the sky and understanding what's up there for about 100 years. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Copernicus was out there early, understanding some shit, but really kind of knowing what's going on 100 years. If you want to really
What
know
about
what's going on,
Stonehenge? Stonehenge is lined up
that's
to
not
the.
okay, that's 2,000 years.
It's
Tops.
astronomical. Okay.
Again, 2,000 years tops. When you're talking about 1 billion years old, we're looking at something for 2,000 years when we're actually looking at something for about 50 years and saying, okay, we understand it all.
Dude, we just put out the James Webb telescope that can see further in infrared than
We're just
everything.
getting started.
Yeah, right.
We're just getting started. Honestly,
Copy. Yeah.
we have no idea what we don't know. We're not smart enough to know what we don't know, honestly, at this point. So we should just probably keep our ears open and our mouths shut.
Did you see the video released the other day that showed the moon of Mars, Phobos, eclipsing the sun? Eclipsed the fucking sun.
Yeah. I heard that. I saw that.
Now,
I
do you
heard that. I
remember
didn't see it.
the last time we tried to photograph Phobos? Dude, that fucking UFO showed up and killed was it German satellite? Don't you remember the original Phobos incident? So now they've allowed us to finally video Phobos and release it to the public. That's pretty wild. And there was no attack. I don't know, man. My mind used to not go to these places until before I had a personal experience. Yeah, I've seen some shit. I'm not going into it, but it changed me, man. It's not a day goes by. I look up in the sky and go, damn, please don't come back here and fuck with me. I'm trying to sleep. Right?
We got
Please don't probe me.
Here where I'm at in Ohio, in about 2 weeks, we got a total lunar eclipse that's going to be visible for my area. And that hasn't happened in my area in a long time.
Nice. Chances are it'll be cloudy here. We get to see the stars maybe once a week lately. It'd be different in the summer.
Man, I get more stars than Carter got little pills here.
Canoe, you got a telescope? Like a little one?
I do not, but I really want one.
No, I got a spotting scope. That's about it.
A monocular?
I bought my nephew a telescope a couple years ago. I don't think he's ever even taken it out of the box.
Sweet. Yeah, that's what I'd like to get if I had $300-400. Buy me a nice little 3.5 refractor, maybe.
Yeah, you can make them yourself.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen all the videos. But no, I'd rather just pay the extra and have it make sure it works. I had this one dude. Let me tell you a quick story. So about 20 years ago, I was just driving through Appalachian Trails, kind of, and this sign said yard sale, pull over. I'm like, okay, what the hell? I got some money in my wallet, not going anywhere, kind of thing. Barely knew where I was. And I'm looking at the table full of typical yard sale shit, like glasses, plates, whatever. I'm like looking beyond the table, and there's this kid, this little boy playing with a fucking telescope in the creek. I'm not shitting you, dude. And in the fucking water, submerged. One of these telescoping, it had like 3, I think, telescoping parts. And it was full of sand and water. I was like, how much you want for that? And I went down there. She's like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, what's that dude playing with? He goes, this is my submarine. I swear that's what that kid said to me. I only paid $5. I cleaned that motherfucker up and all the lenses worked, dude. Yeah. That was a trip. She was like, $5. Here you go. Thank you. And I told the little kid, and he's like, but my submarine. I was like, get a real submarine, dude. And he smiled. Anyway, hope you like my story.
Well, guys, it's almost 2 o'clock here. I'm gonna shut down for the night.
I think I'm out of here too.
I still gotta take trash out. It's trash night. So I think all the lurkers are gone.
All right.
If anybody's still in the chat listening, thanks for dropping by tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for chatting, guys. Night talk.
Cheers. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
Yep.
Catch you on the
You
flip
also.
side.
Gentlemen.
Dawn. Good.